Good evening, everyone. What's going on? Welcome to all the Chaos Army and the Vault of Nightmares fans. The night is wet and dreary, and I love it.
Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight, huh? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We have had some fun the last couple of weeks. Folks, the reason why I didn't put a show up last weekend, I was busy with Miss Lakea on a expedition, as most of y'all have got to hear today. And it was pretty pretty eventful. For those who haven't heard it, give me just a little. Dude, we're climbing up to 6. For those who haven't heard it, let me see here. Let me see if I can play a little excerpt.
Latea Cam Part 2.
I hope everyone heard that.
Well, I know I heard it loud and clear.
I was trying to, I didn't have time before the show. I was going to clean it up a little better and amplify it. I think I'm going to do that sometime tomorrow or the next week, and get it where you can really, really, really hear it good, because that doesn't do it justice. Y'all can go watch the video, put a headset on and get a good listen, because I'm not sure still what the hell that was. At first, I thought the first couple of things that I heard and saw, I thought was Squatch. Now I'm not sure. I don't know what the hell it was. At first, I thought, when I first heard, I'm thinking big cat, and then it starts getting louder and louder. I'm like, if that's a cat that's so much the size of an elephant, I don't know what it was, y'all. I know it's nothing that's supposed to be in the woods we were in. That came out of woods. It's in Mississippi. I'll tell you that. Ain't nothing in Mississippi supposed to be sounding like that. Nothing. And
I have never heard anything like that before. I mean,
I don't know if the ones I put up, I forgot. I don't know if they had the little piglet. There's a piglet you can hear going wee 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 wee. All of a sudden you hear this thing go off, and then you hear the piglet kind of in the middle of a wink go, and that's it. And the guy that's standing beside me, his whole demeanor, he's just like, damn, he got another one. I'm like, I look over at him like, really? That's it. That's all you got to say. This dude was cool as a cucumber. But the thing about it, they were armed to the damn teeth for what they came out there with. I don't believe this is an isolated incident. Good evening, everyone. I don't know if Lakea's coming in here. Sounds like a no, that don't sound like no bobcat. Bobcat don't quite. It's a little different. That whatever that was, like I said, it was probably in that video right there. That sound clip right there. It's probably 200 yards away from us. At that, I think that one. There's a couple of them, because it starts in front of us and there's some movement. There's another video I'm trying to get cleaned up. It did not, y'all. The vault screwed up the camera. I dropped it about 6 or 7 times. The camera was not having a good day, because, like I said, I'm trying to watch two people that I don't know, and they have very large firearms. very large firearms. And one of them I haven't seen in years. Where he found it, I have no idea, but he can take down an elephant. Or charging. I've seen one take down a charging Cape Buffalo before, one shot, and he hit a double barrel. So, uh, um,
Jeez.
AK-47. Probably if you put enough rounds, but I'm not gonna stay. The dog man that I dealt with, it didn't fucking phase it. I'm gonna tell you either one of them because both of them were used on it. I wouldn't suggest you go try it. Let me put it to you that way. If you do, make sure your wheels filled out, leave it in a place where they can find it. That's all I'm gonna say. So, but like I said, this was a crazy dude. It's in the middle. Well, you got to see it, or the last video we did. This is the property I went to. I was talking about. Hello, everyone. Miss Lakea's in here. Yeah, I tricked her into going on a booger hunt with me, y'all. Yeah. She wasn't none too happy. But it was fun. But y'all, I have sparked her interest, and she wants to do a couple of more outings. What? What is Dice saying? What does it take to be? I'm not touching that because there's no way to answer that. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean, and the only thing that I know about is that when it comes to Squatch, there's always more than one. Yeah. And they're not that far away. So if something like that hears a gunshot, they're gonna know what's up, and they're gonna be like, "All right, it's time."
It's not the one you're shooting at. You usually have to worry about. It's the other ones. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you do that, you better be ready for a fight because that's what you're in for. Because you just tried to kill one or wound them, so what do you think they're gonna do to you? Mm. And if it's a dog man's already an agitated SOB to start with, so go ahead, enter at your own risk. Like I said, I caliber wise, I'm not getting into all that. That's not what I'm here for. Your best bet is to leave them. Why are you trying to kill one? Unless it's trying to kill you, that shouldn't even be what you're trying to do.
Well, I remember the night this happened, and I just happened to be up still, binging some TV, and you called me up, and you kind of walked me through the whole thing. So maybe just to kind of give some context, if you want to, however you want to put it, maybe kind of like walk us through, how this happens, so that way we know what's going on, like with the video and all. You know what I mean? Am I getting my point across? Because I can't tell right now.
Okay, well, I thought it was okay. I got a call again from this same fellow. Like I said, it ain't very far from. It's about 40 miles from Booger Valley. So Lakea had came by and was dropping some stuff off. And I was like, "Hey, you want to go? Want me to go check out this dude's place? He keeps having problems." She's like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Don't have nothing else going on." So we hop in the beast, and I know the guy's got a couple of he's got animals and stuff all out there, and he's got a dog that runs around. And like I said, the next video, if I can get it cleaned up and stabilized, I'm going to put it up. You'll get to see he's got a dog. He's got a young German Shepherd named Xena. And like I said, I didn't want Bear to. I didn't know how this dog was going to react. I know how Bear will react unless something tries to attack him. He usually leaves it alone. But anyway, we get out there, and we're talking to the guy. Well, we're sitting inside talking to him and everything. Well, he's got these lights along the wall. They're like little red lights. And all of a sudden, they start flickering. I'm like, what is that right there? He says, well, there's something messing with the pins down there. He said, because those lights are connected to the, he's got a, electric fence. I don't know if y'all know what electric fence is. It shocks the animal to make them where they don't want to dig out or dig under it. He said those lights only go off if it's being triggered. And there was looks like a couple of them being triggered. So we get all our crap together and we go out and get set up, and we're waiting at the side of the property. Well, they come out and they come out armed to the T. And I'm like, okay. I told LaKay, I said, you just stay back behind me, stay back just a little bit. She knows the whole drill. Anyway, we get to going down through there, and I do a little improv on the video where I asked the guy, explain what's going on, and he basically says, you just got to hear this to believe it, because I asked him to describe what you're hearing. He says his very words, you have to hear it to believe it. I'm like, okay. I'm not thinking nothing like that. What we heard. We start down through, and he keeps his property mowed. I'm talking about we're probably a mile off behind his house, down in some bottoms and some fields, and everywhere that a tractor can get to, he has it bush hogged down. He leaves at least he don't leave very much cover. If it can be bush hogged down as far back as his property goes, he bush hogs it. He says, and he's got chickens, he's got some pigs with some piglets, and a couple other things. And we're probably 10, 15 minutes into this walk, and also you hear this pig just and then all of a sudden you hear that crazy ass freaking. I'm like, what in the hell was it? And then you hear the pig again, and then you hear the pig in mid squeak. Shut up.
Hey,
yeah.
Can you do that again?
What? Me.
Yeah, that one.
But in the middle of those wink, it just it's gone. Nothing. And we're probably, I know we're a couple hundred. We're over 200 yards probably away from where his pigs are. So I'm like, hey, on the map, there's a pond over here, right? He says, yeah. I said, well, I want to go towards that pond. So we start humping it towards the pond, and there's a big hill there, and right on the other side of the hill, that son of a bitch cut loose, and it was I've never heard a squatch make this noise. I ain't never heard this noise before. I said it sounds like a crossbreed between a cat. When I say a cat, I mean like a tiger, a squatch, and a train all rolled into one. It's loud because what you heard, the sounds you hear, and it's way off. Like I said, it's being picked up by a cell phone. That's how loud it is. If that gives you any indication, I said that sound is being picked up by a cell. Whoa. Okay. Thanks. I didn't even know that was possible, y'all.
Oh yeah, you get the super chat up and everything.
I did not know that. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we're going to use that to get LaKay some better equipment, because the camera I had, like I said, I just threw some stuff in a bag. I thought LaKay had a camera. So now I have since then built LaKay I'm calling it a LaKay cam. It's Bluetooth too, so it goes to my cell phone, so I can keep a track of her, and it's night vision. So like I said, we're gonna get it, since she liked this right here, and it really intrigued her, because she's went out on a couple, but she's never got into a hot spot like this with me before. And it's like she looks at me like, what is that? I'm like, I have no idea. She said, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. I ain't never heard that noise before. So, and we get around, and I see something, but it's staying just right outside the light. The bright. I have a bright ass light, and it's staying just out of the range of that light, or you can just, you can see, but you can't see. And we're standing in a field that's probably, like I can tell you, it's probably 100 yards long and probably 60, 70 yards wide, and it's just mowed down. Well, all of a sudden, I'm talking, and it's pitch black, y'all. There is no stars, there is no moon, there is no nothing. You can tell that by the video. Those are videos from her cell phone that I put up earlier. That's how dark it is. Unless your light is on it, you can't see. Well, we're standing probably close to middle ways of this field, and I'm looking back because I'm watching where she is. I'm watching where the dude is, and I'm looking kind of ahead because I know I seen something move. Because it's got something went through it because you can see the brush kind of moving off of the limb. I'm like, okay, I know something went that way. And all of a sudden, probably 30 yards away from me, something zipped past me that, like I said, it crossed probably 60 yards in a blink of an eye. I don't know what it was because all I seen was a black blur, but it was blacker than black. That's what I told. That's how I described it to you. I just seen the blur. I'm telling you, if I would have blinked, I would have missed it. That's how fast it was. It covered 60 yards that quick. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong, and that was a bird or something that flew off that limb, and I was looking in the wrong place. So like I said, it's dark. Well, and the light that Achaia had, for some reason, it just started fading. I don't know. So we got my light. Achaea's light now is only by her cell phone light and her phone. I mean, in her back screen. Well, I'll have to go back, y'all, and look at chat since I'm talking, because I can't talk. And I can't talk and look at this thing too. But anyway, we had to cross this little bitty. It's probably a ditch. It's probably 3 feet wide, probably 2 feet deep. It's pretty good size. It's a drainage ditch. We crossed that, and as we crossed that, I can hear something in the timber that's probably 50 yards in front of us. So I tell everybody, okay, let's sit right here. I want to sit here because I believe something's going to try to come out of them woods. If nothing else, charge us or whatever. If it does, nobody move. I'm going to hit it in the face with this flashlight, and it's a 10,000 candle power flashlight. Usually it'll stop a squatch in its tracks because they don't like bright light shining. It'll kind of make them stop. Hopefully, I've never had it not do it, but there's always that chance. But anyway, that and there was enough firepower right there that we could have stopped a rhino if we wanted to. Anyway, we're sitting there and Lakaia's kind of whispering to me and everything. And dude, these bugs, oh my God, you'll have to see when I get this video, you'll see there's bugs. I'm talking about I don't see how these animals take it. I don't know if it's because of our lights or what. These sun guns are pelting and beating the shit out of us. Everything from gnats to little beetles. Anyway, I'm swatting at them, and all of a sudden, this thing goes off behind us, not in front of us. Now, there's something definitely in front of us because it's moving. You can hear it cracking limbs and stuff like that. But this thing goes off probably 100 yards behind us. I'm talking about, you can ask Lakeia. It'll make your hair stand up. I looked at her, she looked at me, and I told the guy, I said, we need to go that way. So we take off up the field opposite direction of where we just came. He's like, well, we need to go back this way, from where that call. I said, no, we're going this way because I want to get out from between these damn things. I actually start going uphill and in a wide ass open area. And we had to make a big detour around, but like I said, I wanted to get as away from in between them, and I wanted to get open area so I could hear or see something coming. Well, we get back up to the house, and Lakeia decides she's going to sit there at the truck. Well, I didn't know she calls Vamp. Hey, Vamp. I just looked over and seen you. Well, she calls Vamp. Sends Vamp a sample like we did you over recording. Vamp freaks the hell out. Well, while Vamp is on the phone with Lakeia, There's stomping and grunting and all kind of crap not very far from my vehicle up at his house. Now he's got yard lights. I call them booger lights all around his house. It's lit up like 4th of July up there. This thing is staying just outside, like I said, of those lights. All of a sudden she says she hung up with Vamp and she laid on the damn horn. I come out and I'm looking at her like, what's going on? She said, we got to go and we got to go now. So we left. The guy said that he's had 14 pigs in the last 2 weeks took. So that's what's happened so far. Well, thank you. I did not know this thing even did that anymore. Thank y'all very much. Like I said, all these proceeds are going to go to Lakea getting a new camera. Because she says she wants something she can see in the dark with. So we're fixing to fix Lakea up. So all the proceeds from this show and the next 2 shows are going to go towards Lakea getting a new camera. Yeah, like I said, I tell you what, hold on a second. I am going to put the link in the chat if one of them want to come in. I don't know if Lakea can or not because she was having issues. I think she said Bear ate her headset. I don't know. But I'd love to get Vamp in here to tell me what she thinks about those sounds. Because Vamp calls me and that she goes, where the hell was y'all at? It sounded like somebody. What y'all didn't hear was the thing that sounded like a bunch of babies screaming. Because that's what Vamp got to hear. Vamp's like, it sounds like a bunch of babies screaming, getting murdered. Okay. Have you been watching chat?
Yeah, I have.
All right. Did anybody ask any questions? Because like I said, I couldn't watch chat talk in.
What in the wow?
What?
A really big spider just crawled across my screen. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry for my French. Son of a bitch.
I gotta go back and tell some people thank you. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that screen name right there. 1008 Calipari, whatever. Thank you for the donation. That's going to Lakea for her camera. And let me go back up. Where the hell is it at? What was the guy's name that gave $10? I don't see him. Where the fuck did he go?
Traypar 1080. I'm afraid to touch anything around here right now. So
Traypar 10. No, that's the person that gave $5. Thank you.
Oh, 10. That was Papa.
Huh?
The $10, right?
Papa Midnight?
All right. Yeah.
God damn, Papa, what's going on, man? I didn't realize that was you. Oh, hell no, Papa. You got to get the fuck in here now. I don't really. Oh, hell no. Come on now. There we go. Come on, Papa. Don't be scared. Come on now. Papa. Come on. What you been up to, man? Come on. I know you got a headset. Well, I said, there's the link. Come on in. Y'all got any questions, suggestions? Damn, dude, we're already up to 24 people. Thank y'all.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty awesome. It's growing pretty quick. We've only been in here for about 25 minutes. So.
Yep. Well, I said, I don't know what this was, y'all. I didn't ever get to see it. And like I said, I was just hoping these two damn old boys didn't lay down and start damn blasting because, like I said, they had uh, hmm, I'll go ahead and tell you. One of them had a 12 gauge shotgun that held that was chambered with 3.5 inch shells. Normal shotguns, 12 gauges, are chambered for 2 3/4 or 3 inch. This is chambered for from 2 3/4 all the way up to a 3.5, which makes it almost a 10 gauge. And it had slugs in it. It kills on both ends. It was a pump.
There is a suggestion in the chat though. Lakea needs a raise. Well, and you got my vote.
Well, she's gonna get a new camera. What she don't know is she's gonna be beat.
Oh, you probably shouldn't have said that, huh? Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna
Vamp needs a raise too.
Well, I got a ladder.
Well, she, I mean, hey, she heard that firsthand. I only got, the videos after the fact. That could be, that could be pretty scary. I mean, hearing that live, I'm glad that I didn't hear that live. So I'm just saying,
y'all don't get the feeling of it being recorded that you get live. I wish there was some way y'all could. I tell you what, get you a very, very big bass speaker, stand right in front of it, and play the hardest bass tones you can, and those reverbs that are hitting you right in the chest, and play in on a headset while you're listening to it, those sounds. And that's what it feels like. And that's how it is. I'm talking about turn it all the way up because there's no volume control out there. Like I said, the sounds y'all are hearing, that's how loud it is. It's on a freaking hold on a second. It's on a freaking this is picked up on a cell phone. This is picked up on a cell phone.
Lakea Cannon Part 2.
Do y'all hear that? It changes tones and stuff. That's not a cat. A cat does not do that.
There's something circling. We are fixing to kind of get the hell out of here because I think I know what we're doing.
See, like I said, I'm talking and narrating because I didn't realize the cat. I knew the cat didn't have a camera with her, so I just told her, watch our back, watch, what's going on with the other stuff. And like I said, I didn't know she done pulled out her cell phone and was using it because her light it kind of died on her. I don't know why the light died. It could have been a bad battery or whatever. I don't think it was supernatural and none of that crap. I think it was just a bad battery or whatever. Because it was oh crap! Yeah, it's just extra one I had laying in the beast. The you get them at Walmart. They're oh damn, the one that looks like a baseball, kind of like a baseball bat. It's a big aluminum one that's got like 4C battery. I mean D batteries in it. Crap! I can't remember the name of it either. No, he hasn't said he's found any strange prints. And to be honest, it's going to be hard to find prints because the place is just covered with grass. It's not like there's a muddy street. Grass is hard to find. You can kind of see in the field in the daytime or when the light's better. You can kind of see where you can tell where something has drove through, and then you can see where something stomped with very good sized feet in a wide stride. I'm talking about like a 6 or 7 foot stride. That's a big animal. Kind of went through there, but I've never seen nobody take the time and the effort to, like I said, we're probably a mile from his house back up in the woods, and every place that was flat that you could get a tractor into, he has bush hogged down. It is clean. I'm talking about the grass is probably the 6 inches tall at the most. Wouldn't you say, Lakea? Maybe 6 inches. Like I said, I believe I could drive a car through most of the place. It's a weird place. I'm gonna tell you.
So this question might be a little bit redundant, but
Go ahead.
in just well, because where you said the silhouette of this thing running across the field was like darker than the darkness itself. Have you ever actually seen a squatch make that kind of silhouette in the dark before?
No, that's
Because I mean, I remember when you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the other thing that threw me off. It's like I've never seen one that it was black. I'm talking about it was whatever it was black because it's dark and then you can see this object moving through the dark. But it's it's hard to describe what I'm talking about. It's kind of like having a dark room and a shadow moves across. It's just you can I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like I said, and it was so fast. Squatches are fast, but I've never seen one move that fast. I'm talking about it was like, and it was there. It was gone. It went right by me, probably 30 yards out, maybe, and it covered 60 yards that quick.
Well, I remember when you made that description to me on the phone after the fact, after you guys had gotten back to, after you gotten back to the house, and it was one of those things where it was like, I started going down the rabbit hole on you. And you were like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, well, are there, what's significant about the area around there other than what it is? I mean, are there ley lines? Is there anything a little more funny that could be just, reason to something living in the woods? I mean, because I've personally, other than something bordering on the paranormal,
this wasn't paranormal. This was flesh and blood. This was not paranormal. This was flesh and blood because, like I said, I don't know of any ghost that needs to eat. This thing it has been taking. Like I said, we heard it take a pig, and because I didn't want to get anybody grossed out on the kegger, we went to where there's blood and stuff. So ghosts don't eat stuff. This thing was eating. It's flesh and blood.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying paranormal as in ghost. The reason why I ask is because, I mean, is it entire, and it might be a stupid question, but is it entirely possible? Because I remember I asked you actually if there were, was there any fairy circles around there? Was there anything that could look like it might be a door to somewhere else? I mean, because I know it may seem completely out of the realm of what we're talking about here, but judging by the sounds, judging by the description and what you saw, it almost could it be entirely out of the realm of possibility that it might be something from somewhere else that shouldn't be here, which would give it a paranormal aspect in our eyes, in the type of world that we live in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to say to that is I don't know. Anything could be possible right now because I don't know. All I know is I've never, ever, ever heard that sound before. Ever. Like I said, now fairy circles and stuff. Like I said, you got to remember it's dark out there. The only thing that we could see is what our lights are illuminating, and I haven't found anything on the satellite or nothing like that of it because I've satellite the whole freaking property, and when I mean satellite, I got a little extra access that most people don't have, where I can get access to a satellite that'll give me photos of like within 24 hours. And there's nothing on that. Because remember, I didn't show this on there because I didn't want to show its vehicles and stuff like that. Me and you were looking at it. You can see the power lines. There's power lines that are running down into the woods where there's lights. That's the other thing. He had lights sitting off down in the woods. Something has knocked out those lights. Every time they get them replaced, something knocks them out. It cost him $100 every time for each light they come out and replace.
Wow.
But like I said, whatever this was, eventually came after we left from down there. Like I said, I went uphill towards a big opening, totally different direction from where we come in. We probably walked. Lakeia was tired when she got back we probably walked Lakeia 5 miles to get back. It took us we probably walked in when we started hearing stuff, probably a mile and a half. And then if we took a detour that actually crossed over somebody else's property, I was like, I don't give a shit right now. I'm making sure I stay away from where I know those two things were, because they're trying to circle us. They're trying to hem us in for some reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm taking it right now that they're trying to, they're basically, I felt like I was trying to be ambushed, is the way it felt. So I took it that way to heart. So I made sure I went way out of the way of, so I could keep large areas away from the wood, like, cause they were staying in the wood line. They were just staying in the wood line. I don't know if it was because they didn't want to be seen by the lights. The lights bothered them. Yeah, Lakay is in full makeup, y'all, and everything. And yeah, I thought she was gonna kill me when we got back. But like I said, she goes back. She's sitting in the beast, and she's sitting there, and she's on the phone with Vamp, because she just sent Vamp the recordings that one of them is what you just got to hear, and there's another one that I put up earlier. She sent those to Vamp, and Vamp immediately calls her and like, what in the fucking, where the hell are you? And while she is on the phone, she can hear, and Vamp can hear, because like I said, now she's got the phone on speaker. This thing is loud enough, stomping and hitting and making noises that Vamp can hear it over the phone. She starts blowing the horn and cutting up, and I come outside like, what in the hell are you doing? She goes, we got to go, and we got to go down. There's something out here now. So I seen she was very upset. So I told the guy, I'll talk to you later. I'm going to get her out of here. And he's like, okay. He's like nonchalant. This is every day to him. I'm telling y'all, he acted way too calm. And you even asked me, do I think he was messing with us? Nope, I do not, because a recording doesn't give you the reverberation and you can't feel that recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, because like I said, y'all got to understand, what y'all are hearing is on a cell phone several hundred yards away. The closest it got, wait a minute, no, that one right there was about 100 yards away when on the cell phone, because I could hear myself saying this thing is circulating us. Because like I said, it was that was still 100 yards away on a cell phone. So imagine what it sounded like being right there. You're hilarious. Matter of fact, I had brown pants on. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Where's it at? I don't think I have it. I have a picture of me in, well, they're khaki. No, I don't have it on here. God dang it. Anyway, I'm supposed to have it on here. Where the hell did it go?
Dude, I'm a little freaked out right now.
Why?
Well, like I'm outside because I got everything set up on the back of my car because I wanted to be outside because it's beautiful out, and I'm in the dark. The only light I got is with my laptop screen, and I'm hearing, you're playing that stuff, and we're talking about it, and I'm hearing tires squeal from down the street, and a big spider walk across my keyboard, and I'm a little freaked out right now. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that's what it is.
I tell you what, hold on just one damn minute. I got away. I got away. I'm kind of half-assed set up tonight, y'all. Sorry about that. I was busy doing some other stuff, and like I said, I didn't get to put a show out last weekend. And everybody messaged me, what happened to you, Vault? What happened to you? I'm not going away again. I promise you. It was a holiday, so I was letting everybody enjoy their holiday. Let's see here. We'll do it. Oop. Yep, that's it. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh shit! Hold on. Stop. It won't play like that. I gotta take this off. Uh-oh. We got contact then.
Latea Cam Part 2.
Y'all hear that?
Jesus.
That is not a fucking cat.
What in the world?
There's something circling us. We are fixing to kind of get back out of here because I think I know.
Now that's one. That's one of them.
This is not a safe looking.
Let's
see.
Dude, it almost sounds akin to a banshee. I mean, Jesus.
Well, you can hear the roar in it.
And we're hearing strange noises back over here.
Hold on. Let's get to this one.
I'm sorry.
You know, WWA just put in the chat, definitely a skinwalker. Do you think it could have been a skinwalker? Is that even...
No, I've heard skinwalkers before, and
they don't.
They make more of a whale.
Is there anything in that area that maybe you think would suggest there would be like a Native American site? You think maybe like a Wendigo? I mean, I know I'm kind of going off the tracks, but I'm just trying to grasp at straws, you know?
Hold on. You got to listen.
Let me try to catch up to him.
Did you hear that?
What in the world?
Yeah.
That was one of the pigs that just got ate.
Oh, that's a bad way to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up just a little bit so you can hear it again.
We've been walking in the woods for a while.
You can hear like they out of breath. You hear that?
The makeup.
No. Let me try to catch up to him.
You hear that?
What in the world?
That sounded like a baby.
Yeah.
That's what
giving me the heebie-jeebies and everything.
That's what threw me off right there. It's like, what in the hell? Because I'm talking, it's loud. That's where that's where right there, like I was saying, the hillside where it goes down. I'm like, I thought I seen something go over that hill, but like I said,
you know, I wish this is something else as far as I'm concerned, because the simple fact that I've watched videos that you've sent me where you can hear squatch yells or strange things in the forest. Now, granted, I've never heard a big cat, make noises or a Wolverine or whatever it is, but it's just the fact that you were there and you can hear it plainly, and it's in the whole unknown factor just kind of makes it scary as hell.
Well, like I said, I want people to listen to this one more time, because like I said, a lot of people, at first I thought it was a cat until I listened to it a little bit better.
You guys, this is Latea Cam on an expedition with Vault. And we're hearing strange noises back over here. I'm sorry I'm out of breath. We've been walking in the woods for a while.
You can hear it over there where the pigs go.
Let me try to catch up to him. What in the world?
Like I said, it that is no cat. That is no cat. Like I said, we're in Mississippi, y'all doing that. There is nothing in the state of Mississippi. You can go pull it up with the on the local website. There is not supposed to be anything that sounds like that. So first off, that noise ain't supposed to be there by what the science says is supposed to be there. That's number one. Number two is it's if that's a cat, that so much is the size of an elephant. That's Grandpa Sabretooth.
Well, you know, Bass just put in the chat, could have been the supposed rake creature. Now, I don't know what one of those sounds like, but I mean, I don't know. The way you say it moves, I don't know. You know, that's I'm not going to discount anything at this point because we just don't know what it is, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. I don't. Bam says she's going to need a sandwich and a hook. Well, hey, like I said, you heard Lakea. You can hear her there. Like I said, we had been walking. We done probably been a mile and a half, maybe a little more. And then I walked her another almost 5 miles to get around all these things to get away from them. And we're way back in the woods. Like I said, in the last show, I pulled up a map on that last show and showed the area. We walked from one side of that property all the way around, did a big old U all the way back out the other side of the property. That property is 55 square acres. We went from one side down all the way to the back and back up the other side, all the way across the back side and back up the front. And like I said, and he said that we got over on the neighbor, so we actually walked the we went outside that 55 acres. Somebody said they put on their big headphones.
Yeah, the squeal right before the what in the world?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can hear this thing. You can hear a pig, and then you hear this thing go, wow, and then the pig goes, and right in the middle of it squeak. It no squeak no more.
Now, have you talked to this guy since you've been out there? I mean, has there been any more incidents? Has there been any, new developments?
Yeah, he said after we left, he was having. Matter of fact, he's got a guy coming out to repair his roof because we had rain the last 2 days, and now he's got leaks in his house. And he said something was throwing rocks at his house, and it apparently it knocked shingles loose or caused some holes or something because he's got leaks in his house now. That's how hard it was throwing rocks.
See, that sounds very Sasquatch, but
exactly. The sound. I don't know if this is a different kind of Squatch or one that's messed up or what. But I'm gonna tell you.
Well, yeah, but the noises it's making and the movements it is and how fast it was and the silhouette. It's
like I said. There's too many things that go together but don't go together. I don't know. Like I said, I'm. At first, I was telling this guy, yeah, I believe you got a Squatch. And then I heard this damn thing do what it did. And then it crossed that field. And I'm like, I might have spoke too soon because I've never seen Squatches are fast. Now, don't give me a line. Don't get me wrong. They're fast. I'm talking about really fast. But whatever crossed that field, like I said, within 30 yards of me, it may be a little further, maybe a little closer because it's hard to judge at night, in the dark distance. It was fast and it was big because you could hear what made me know that I wasn't just seeing something. You heard, when something goes by you, you hear I heard that. So I know it was physical because it made as it went by.
Do you think it could have been a Googway? A Googway, if I'm pronouncing that properly?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Whatever it was big. It was over 7 foot. I know that.
Well, I mean,
it had to be.
Bass brought it.
What I'm saying is, like I said, as soon as we heard the squeal, you can add. Lakea will tell you he just nonchalantly goes, "It got another one of my damn pigs." It just like I just said it there is how he said it. He wasn't excited. He wasn't nothing. At the very beginning of hold on, I think I got I think I got the audio on my phone. Hold on just a second.
Well, while you're looking for that, is the Googway a thing? I mean, I have seen
I've never seen one.
a certain person that I listen to. You know, the people that he gets his stories from, they do a lot of fictional stories with that creature. But I'm wondering, is that actually a real thing? I mean, because we haven't really discussed that too much, and I'm not like being trying to be an a-hole about that. I'm just curious as
I've heard of them. I've heard several people talk about them. I've never as far as I know, I've never seen one. I've never investigated one. Now, this is the interview.
All right, folks, we kind of having a little improv little thing tonight because the guy that I've said something before about having some problems on his property, he's called me again tonight, and I'm going to let him kind of explain what's going on. For mostly, like I said, we don't know exactly what we're dealing with. All we know is something keeps coming up here, aggravating him and breaking into areas that they shouldn't be. What all have you had go on?
Something's breaking into my chicken coops, my pig pens, and just any farm animal out here on the property.
And you've heard loud, strange.
You just got to hear it to believe it.
Well, like I said, I told you I've seen some weird stuff and heard some weird stuff. So
I told you exactly what he said. You just got to hear it to believe it. The way you hear him talking is the way he talks the whole night.
Seems very, very, very calm about the whole situation, and I would be, I don't think that I would have been able to hold my stuff together like that.
Dude, with the weapons, him and his son's with us. His son's kind of staying back towards where LaKay is. And like I said, the weapons they came out with, this is I forgot what model Mossberg it is. It's a Mossberg shot. Like I said, it's made for turkey hunting. And he's got a damn 12 gauge shotgun with 3.5-inch slugs. It basically it's a 10 gauge. His son has I've only seen one. I told you one. He has a double barreled 45-70 rifle that is made for killing like rhinos and elephants and crap like that, over in Africa. That's what he comes out of the house with. So like I look at him and go, I was like, you elephant hunt very much? He said, well, he comes in useful around here. I'm like,
it makes you wonder how long this stuff's been going on. If he's just like, yeah, we got it.
I'm talking about this thing will blow a cow down. So I'm thinking, you shoot the neighbor's cows or like I said, y'all heard, like I told y'all several times what he said. Y'all got to hear it from him. You just got to hear it to believe it, because he wouldn't even describe. He said, man, I can't. I told y'all, I heard it off his cell phone, and it kind of sounded just like what I told y'all. It sounded like a Bigfoot trying to howl and gurgle all at the same time, is what it sounded like on his cell phone, and it wasn't a good recording. He told me that. Y'all got to hear what I got to hear. When I heard that, I'm like, what the hell? That's not the sound of Bigfoot. I've never heard one make that. But if you listen to the recording again, if you go back and listen to this show again, listen to that recording again, cats, if it was a big cat, first off, they don't make that sound like that. They make something similar to that, but it's not that long and it's not that loud. This thing changes its tone like 3 different times. It goes to like it's in the middle of a 2 different kind of howls. To me, it almost sounds like 2 different creatures at the same time. If you listen to it again, it sounds like 2 different animals at the same time, and taking up the same amount of space. But like I said, y'all just don't have to. Y'all think that's loud. That's nothing compared to, like I said, that's picked up with a cell phone, not with an external mic, or that's picked up like you're doing a video blogging. And you know, if you get very far away from your phone, you sound like this right here. And I'm on a high end freaking mic right now. And if I back away more than 3 feet, I get low. This is on a cell phone, and how loud is picking it up.
Sounds like it would have almost been ear piercing at some points.
Well, I'm telling you, the vibration off of it. What is going on in chat? I forgot to look at chat. I was doing.
Well, Can Squash said property owners leaving out details. Has he ever shot at them? I think in the process is that, you know, how deep has his actual encounters been with, because like LaKay had said that some details are not being publicly shared, but I think maybe almost in the realm is that, you know, not giving up where he is or what's been going on, but what exactly has been, Jesus, that's the biggest mosquito I've ever seen. What has been his, you know, has he been completely forthcoming with certain details that might be helpful to the situation? Like if these things are throwing rocks at him and, you know, there's all kind, and he's got to mow down giant parts of his property that could be used as farmland. What's the extent of, you know, his actual encounters with these things? And of course, Bass kind of threw out there, does he have game cameras in the area? You know, maybe could have picked something up.
Yeah, he's got game cameras, but he said he has not picked up anything. He has, because he hunts the area. There's deer and everything. That's the other thing. When he was telling me about how much deer and stuff activity on in through this video, I tell him, I was like, hey, there's not any, I don't see any animal activity. I'm talking about usually you come across, you know, other animals at night. You come across possums, you come across coyote, you come across all kind of stuff, especially as far back in the woods we are. You come across that stuff, night predators. There was nothing. There was no deer out. There was no nothing. There's not, the only sounds you hear are the bugs and then this damn thing. Everything else is shut the fuck up. And then you hear,
you know, Paul, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought I had a break. Well, Paul had said is that, didn't we already talk about how hominids can make ear piercing sounds as far as volume goes? And I want to take that a little step further, maybe. Do you think that this could be a different type of hominid coming into the area, something that's a little different than, you know, maybe it's not a Googway, or maybe it's not a this, or if it's not totally a Squatch, could it be a variation of a species that you haven't seen before? Even though I know you've seen a lot. I mean, anything's possible. It's kind of like the motto of the show almost. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, with the way it moved, the way it sounded, I have not come across this before, so I can't tell you what it could be or what it couldn't be. I'm leaning towards it not being a Squatch, but then, like I said, I can't leave anything out. What if this is a Squatch that has something wrong with it? You know, what if it has a birth defect? Anything could be, and see it taking pigs and stuff, easy opportunity. Maybe it's got birth defects that it can't normally get its game like all the other Squatches. But the thing is, I know LaKay will tell you there was more than one, because there was something in front of us large, because it would. If anybody out there listening to us has ever been around cattle, you know, or whatever, when they move through the brush and stuff, the noise they make, a horse or a moose or anything like that, that's the kind of noise you hear. There's nothing like that in this state. The biggest herbivore we have is a freaking deer out in the wild. He doesn't have any horses and he doesn't have any cows. The largest predator we're supposed to have here is the gray wolf. They've made a comeback here. They're about the size of a German Shepherd. This was very, 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 I'm talking about, think of a crowd of people coming down a hill, but it's just one thing. because you could hear it snapping, you could hear it stepping. And then, like I said, it was like keeping us occupied. And then this damn thing went off behind us, like it was moving in or whatever. I didn't hear no tree knocks. I think Lakeia told me she thought she heard a whistle once or twice. I couldn't hear that because I'm talking to this guy and I'm focusing on what we're walking up to because I've never walked this property. I didn't want to go do this at night. But it was like, hey, if you don't come out here, or something, I'm just going to find somebody else to contact. And I really wanted to get out there.
See, that's the thing, though. You said the silhouette. It's in my research and in my own personal experience, the only things that I know that make a silhouette like that is something with a paranormal backing to it. I mean, like a shadow man or a spirit of some kind. That's the thing that gets me. I mean, that's why I was asking all these different questions, because the simple fact that
because of its fur was so dark is the reason why. And like I said, this thing was solid because, like I said, it made as it went by, like, you could hear it go through the wind, but it was so freaking fast. To me, it was. But like I said, you got to remember, it's dark. I don't know. It could have been, by the time I picked it up with my eyesight, as dark as it was, it could have been, when I said it probably was 30 yards, maybe a little closer, maybe a little further. So it might have been 30 yards coming in and 30 yards away from me. And then it went out of my visibility at the same distance. I just know he said, because I asked him, I said, how far from one side of this field to the other side of this field? He said, roughly about 60 yards. Okay, something came coming through without me hearing it, without me seeing it, until it's right on top of me, goes across 60 yards. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, I'm like, that's why I'm asking all kinds of out there questions, because that just doesn't, I mean, flesh and blood or not, I mean, I'm thinking, okay, if we're going to go flesh and blood, then maybe it's a flesh and blood creature that's not supposed to be here. You know what I mean? That was my type of thing on it. And, it's weird. It's weird.
Well, I'm talking about, and like I said, as dark as it is, you got to take in your visibility. Like I said, because my light was not pointed that direction. I'd actually cut my light off and was walking in the dark, because I don't know if these things can see in the dark, cannot see in the dark. I just know if you got a light on, and that's the only light out there, you're a target. So I cut the light off, move through the area, try to move through the area as much as I can without the light on until I hear something or I may see something. I turned the light on. It was so fast. By the time I picked it up with my naked eye and heard it and flicked the light on, you could barely see the brush moving on the wood line where it went in. That's how fast it was. But like I said, you got to look at all the possibilities. It could have just been because it was so dark, I didn't see it until it got closer to me from in that 60 yards. And then it got out of my range of view again. But like I said, the speed it was just incredible. I've never seen a squatch run by me that fast.
I got a question from Brian in the chat. It says, Vault, do you think that the sound the creature made was like a threatening sound, perhaps for habitat reasons?
I think it was pissed that we were there. Is what it sounded like, a pissed off sound. It was not happy. I can tell you that now. I'm talking about it's a growl, scream, whatever the hell. Let's see here.
Lakeia Cam Part 2.
Does that sound happy to you?
Well, no, not at all.
And you can hear again, it changed tones. Cats don't do that.
Lakeia Cam Part 2.
You hear that rah, 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 like it's moving its mouth.
All right, y'all.
What in the world?
There's something circling. We are fixing.
That's not a cat.
No.
When I first heard that row, that's what we heard first. I'm talking about it was way off. And I was thinking, okay, there's a big cat on the place. And then it went into this damn wow, 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 wow. I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't no damn cat.
Oh, WWA just came up with some protecting babies.
Well,
if there was more than one out there, is there a possibility there could have been kind of the proverbial women and children in the background as it's trying to move through the area or be in the area?
I don't know. This is the thing, though. Vamp can tell you this. I cannot find the video, the little segment right this minute. Like I said, I've got another video that's going to go up. I'm trying to clean up the picture. If nothing else, I'm just going to put the audio up because the picture is so crappy because I dropped the camera and messed up some of the settings, and it is just all funkified. But one of the things that Vamp got to hear, you can ask Vamp. She says it sounds like a bunch of babies being killed. Screaming. It sounds like a bunch of babies. And it did. It sounded like a bunch of think of being in a nursery with 100 babies screaming at the top of their lungs at one time. That's one of the sounds we come across out there. Have never ever come across that before. Like I said, because Vamp was like, what in the hell did y'all get up on? Did y'all come up on? Because it would be in this one area. You could hear it take off. And then it may be in front of you right now. When you heard it take off, it'd go to your right or to your left. And then it would make this call. Well, then it stopped making that call. The one I was tracking in on, or the ones, however many it was, I know it was at least one right there that I was honing in on. Cause like I said, I sit and listen. I told them, I said, because I accidentally bumped the camera and knocked it off, but trying to fix the settings, and I didn't realize it. I told them we're going to sit right here. We're in probably a 200 yard field, kind of half around. We're almost right in the middle of it. So I got plenty of view. If something's coming out, you can hear it. You got time to react. The wood line that we're hearing this stuff from, and you can see limbs and stuff moving, hear stuff breaking. It's in front of us. And I say, there's something right there. I said, I think it's going to eventually, I thought it was going to come out charging us, is what I thought. Because it was right next, I was trying to get next to the pond. Because like y'all were talking about, footprints. Where's the best place to look for tracks at? Around the pond where it's wet, muddy. Because it was nothing but grass and everything around us everywhere else. So that's why I was wanting to go towards the pond. Every animal is going to have to eventually show up at that pond that's on that property and get water. Well, we got within 200 yards of that pond, and I said, it's a wood line. And these things have been staying in this wood line, and it's a thick wood line. And I'm like, I got two people I don't know, and I got Lakea here. I don't really want to put nobody's life in jeopardy or danger because I don't know what this is because I don't recognize the sound. I don't know what it's going to do. But the way it was acting, it acts like sometimes a juvenile squatch will do when it's just trying to pump itself up to make a charge. That's what I thought it was going to do. I thought it was definitely going to charge out of those bushes at us. And then all of a sudden, this so much went off about 100 yards behind us, and it sounded like he was getting closer. I'm like, no, this is bull crap. This thing right here is going to set us up. It got us paying attention. It's like the old magic trick, sleight of hand. You get the audience to pay attention to what your left hand's doing. It's not doing nothing when all the stuff is actually going on in your right hand. That's what I felt like this thing was doing. It got our attention, got us to stop, and kept us in that one area. And this thing was homing in on us where we were, and it was going to have us in between two of them. And I had a big ass ditch over to my right, and I had a hill that went up into a clearing to my left. I chose the hill with the clearing because if anything, it's going to slow it down a little bit trying to get up this hill. I got a head start on it. So we started up that way. Like I said, I cannot tell you what this was. We're up to 41 people in here.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm actually showing 42.
Okay.
And we've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes now, and that's pretty awesome. 43. You know what I mean? So that's pretty epic.
There it is. If you got a question Or I'd love for y'all to come in, ask me a question. This is what I want to do on some of these. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put these episodes up where I go out, we find whatever we find. We show y'all. We let you hear. Come in. I'll give you an opportunity to let you ask me a question, because it's hard. It's kind of hard to do it in the chat. I would love for you to come on and personally ask me the question. Like I said, I'm not. Come on in, ask me whatever you want. I'll answer you if I can answer you, and if I can't, I'll be honest and tell you I don't know. That's like I said. I'll tell you right now, I have no idea right now what this is. I know it's not supposed to be there. It's not even supposed to be in. There's nothing that's that big. It's supposed to be in this state. If you don't believe that, like I said, go to Mississippi.gov, the animal site. Look up what all the natural creatures are in the state of Mississippi. There's nothing here that's supposed to be that big. And if you want to know that, once you see, like, we got bobcats and stuff like that, just Google a bobcat sound. They are nothing like what you hear. Nothing like that. What they sound like is just an oversized freaking house cat. They will purr. They will do all kind of stuff, but they don't sound nothing like that. Yeah, pound that like button, please, please, please. Like I said, and all proceeds from this video, I'll tell you what, from all proceeds from the next 5 videos that we put up are going to go to get Lakea a very, very good camera. Because like I said, she volunteered. She said if I got her a very good camera that she could see at night, even without a light. I said, okay, we'll see if that's what the listeners want you to do. Yeah, there's occasionally a black bear in Mississippi, but it's not. But a bear don't sound nothing like that. Nothing. Bear don't eat no. And there are very, very few and far between in the state of Mississippi. They haven't even made the registry yet. Really, they're making, and you got to be on the line of Louisiana, Tennessee, up that on that side, Arkansas, up through there to get. For where they're actually coming across, and this is nowhere near that. Like I said, we're somewhere in Mississippi, nowhere near the Louisiana state line. I'll put it to you that way. I don't want to say any more because, like I said, Booger Valley ain't but about 40 miles from there as the crow flies, and I know what's on there.
Well, if you're saying near the Louisiana line, there's a lot of weirdo stuff that comes in and out of that place, man.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I asked him did he have cameras up? He does. He's got cameras up because he's got a matter of fact, I think in the video you can see he's got a big 35-gallon drum corn feeder up for deer, and he said he's got cameras sitting around for that, but he said he's never picked nothing up on his cameras. That's what he told me. Now, what has happened is a different story because I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I'm thinking about putting some up myself. And I said, I before me and Lakay go back out there, I've got to do a lot of sit down with this guy and get a little bit more feel. And I want to actually go back on a daytime. I want to get a better idea of the surrounding and the layout of the land and stuff like that, because you got to think about it. Like I said, this is how dark it was. Turn all your lights off in your house, close all your blinds, and try to maneuver around your house without bumping into anything. You can't see in the dark. I believe these things can, and they already have enough advantage. Why do I need to give them any more advantage? That's why usually I do my investigations in the daytime. I'll go out, camp, set up, and do stuff like that at night. Like I said, this was just an improv because he was fixing to actually get somebody else to come in. I don't need nobody else traipsing around. I don't need 2 other, more people running around, knocking on trees and stuff like those. I get that all the freaking time. People run around knocking and hooping and hollering and stuff like that in the woods, thinking they're going to find something that way, and you're not going to find shit.
I got a couple of things in the chat here. Yeah. One question was, do you think he could have lizard creatures on his property? And Bass had thrown that out there. I've never heard of them making that type of noise before, but Mary put in something there. Do you think is a possibility of creatures coming out of natural portals? That was definitely what I was trying to get into, because it's like, there's some aspects of it. It's interesting. It definitely.
Right now, with what I've got, dude, it could be anything. And, it could be ET, trying to make a long distance phone call. I don't know. I just know this. This is what I can tell you. I do know. I have never had something run by me that fast in the freaking woods before, that dark. And I've never heard these sounds before. That's what I can tell you for definite. That's what I can tell you for definite right now.
Brian had asked, are there any stairways in that forest? Because those stairs can be considered portals.
No, dude. What I've seen of the forest, y'all see I've seen on the last video. And like I said, what we saw was, like I said, we stayed out of there's heavy woods there, but it's not heavy because there's a lot of fields. And like I said, this guy has his place cut down. If he could get a tractor in there and get a bush hog on it, he put a bush hog. I think he's got a John Deere 1060 or 1086 or something like that with a 15-foot bush hog. It takes him a week. He said altogether, he said he cuts one or two fields this week, one or two fields the next week. He keeps it mowed all the time. Do y'all realize how much effort and how much diesel and all? There's a lot that goes into that. A lot of effort that I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense other than to keep it down, because these things didn't like crossing into the field. They stayed in the wood lines. And I don't know if that was his purpose. He even had, like I said, you can ask Chaos. I showed him on the aerial. There are poles in the middle of fields way back in the woods. And he said at first, they worked for a while, then they would knock them out. And he said, it cost me $100 every time I get the light company to come out here, crawl up that pole and put a new bulb in. So that got expensive. He said, really, really quick. So he just let them, the ones that are still on, he leaves on, they're still there. They're there. The other ones, he just hadn't worried about replacing anymore because he said it just cost too much. But like I said, it's going to take a lot more investigation. I just wanted to get to see if anybody else has maybe heard on another channel or whatever these same sounds.
Well, it definitely shows intelligence, a strong intelligence. If it's able to get in there and avoid all these cameras and knock these lights out, you know what I mean? It definitely knows what it's doing and what it wants to accomplish.
And like I said, it almost sounds like it's trying to talk or whatever in this. When you hear it, it's like a wow, 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 wow. The way it's doing, it's more than just throwing its head back and just letting it rip. Because it sounds like to me, if I try to mimic it, I've got to move my jaw back and forth like wow, wow, wow. You've got to move your mouth, your jaw, and all that stuff. So I'm thinking of it doing it. It's got to do the same thing. It's just 10 times louder than I am, or could be. It's got a microphone.
WWA had put in there, wonder if those workers had seen anything out of the ordinary. And maybe if they had mentioned to the guy who owns the property, hey, what's up with this type of thing? You know what I mean?
I don't know, because when I contacted the local power company that serves that area, it's not like a regular power company. It's an independently owned power company, and then they sub out like the light care stuff like that. They said it was cheaper and easier for them to sub out, because I asked them a lot of questions. I told them, I didn't tell them what I was doing. I just told them I was interested in the maintaining of the lines out in the rural communities, and took a little question asking and I got the lady friendly enough to start answering questions. Just like, well, there's a company that they use. I think they come out of Tennessee. That comes down and does all their services for their lights and stuff like that. I say, because it's an independently owned power company. It's not like energy or anything like that. Like I said, it's an independently owned company that services basically a lot of the rural area, and they even contract out the cutting of the power lines and all that kind of stuff. They service all that out. The only thing they basically maintain is they maintain their own lines. They have their own lineman crews and stuff like that. And I haven't found anybody yet to ask that works on a lineman crew to, you just don't walk up and start asking, hey man, have you seen any Sasquatches or weird creatures? That's not a way you start asking. That's a good way to get people to look at you like you got a third arm growing out of your head, and especially if there's a bunch of other people around. That's not how you do that. That's one of those things you slowly ease into.
So probably would have to like actually go to the line workers themselves, the people who would have actually changed those bulbs then.
Yeah, Brian. Brian. Like I said, to make the sounds, because I tried. That's what I do to try to make out sounds and stuff. How easy is it to even get close to? And I still haven't got close to even trying to replicate the sounds. You got to move your mouth and jaw and your diaphragm up and down. There's a whole bunch that goes into it. It's just not they throwing their head back making a whoo. It's I said, yeah, it's intelligence gone into it, and I guarantee you those sounds mean something. That's another reason why Balt doesn't go around making those sounds in the woods, because I don't know what the fuck they mean. You could be inviting them to a fight. You could be inviting them to mate. You could be talking about their mama, or calling the kids ugly. I don't know. Because I've associated the knocking, and usually it's them slapping the trees. I've seen them do it from a distance, but they're hunting. Because think about it. If you had something going up in the woods, you got predator prey or whatever, they're more likely going to be in tune to that. Slapping and knocking the trees and stuff like that, it's not going to too much be that much more invasive. It's less invasive, the knocking of the trees. And the sounds that people, I can't make it with my mouth, but you get a like that is actually their teeth bumping together. That ain't them clacking rocks and shit down. That's their teeth. The other animal that will do that is a hog, a female sow hog. And if you get between her and her piglets, she does that right before she tries to tusk you. And those tusks on a hog are bad. I've seen a guy I'm talking about it. I didn't even see the hog do it. It ran by him so fast and kind of threw its head. It ripped him up. It went right between his legs. It cut him from his ankle all the way up past his knee on both legs on the inside. He got lucky that it missed the arteries up through there. I'm talking about it laid him open like you hit him with a razor on both legs. That's a hog is not an animal you want to mess with. And these things hunt them down, grab them by the back feet, and sling them against trees. And I've heard of witnesses tell me that they hit the hog, that it had the way it hit the tree. Now this is a Sasquatch doing it. It grabbed the hog by the back legs and slammed it into an oak tree that was beside, right there. This guy heard it, ran up there trying to figure out what the hell this was. There's a hog still sitting there quivering, and there's a bone sticking in the tree from its ribs from the hog.
Jesus.
But like I said, they do some weird things. You're talking about something now that will waylay you. I've seen them cut tires that will they'll come up to a truck and a big old male boar trying to hook the truck because they're just mean and aggressive. I've seen them actually puncture a tire and rip it open. If you want to know how hard that is, go take your pocket knife to an old tire. Don't do it to your new tire, please. Do it to an old tire and try to push a knife in the sidewall of a tire. It ain't easy. And this thing will just rip them open. Like I said, but I've heard hogs make weird noises, but I ain't never heard one make nothing like this. Like I said, there ain't nothing supposed to be in the woods where we were that's supposed to be able to make this noise. Like I said, because this came from a very good sized freaking animal with something with a big lung capacity. Big lung capacity. Like I said, I did. Oh, what the hell? Oh, our damn computer tried to go to sleep. Hold on a second. Wake up, bitch. I was looking at chat and everything went dark. I'm like, what the hell? What? I didn't even hit a button this time. What the hell happened? Well, like I said, I'm curious. As I said, Paul, you want to come in? Since nobody else has got the gonads to come on in. There you go. I want to get your take on what you heard. You're a smart individual. I said, I've been racking my brain. I've went back through different kind of sounds and everything like that. I've even went through some sounds I've got personally, and I cannot come up with nothing that even remotely gets close to this. So I don't know, people, if we find a new cryptid or if we've got one that's just deformed or we got one that's making, because I'm going to tell you something. There's one up in the Ozarks. It's called the Ozark Howler. It's a Bigfoot, but that thing it makes some fun. It'll sound like Yahoo. Hey, Paul, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear
Oh
you.
yeah.
Hey guys. Hey.
You got the Ozark Howler, then you got it's actually called the Yahoo because it'll make the Yahoo, but it's just weird sounding. Oh, did I do that or did he do that?
Wasn't me.
Okay.
I'm
Somehow,
innocent.
Chaos muted himself by accident, or he did it on purpose. I don't know. But Paul, what do you think about that sound? You may play it again for you?
Yeah, go and stick it on again.
All right, hold on one second.
You guys, this is Lakea Camp on an expedition with Vault.
All right.
And we're here.
That's one of them. This is the one you really hear it good on.
Lakea Camp Part 2.
All right.
What in the world?
There's something circling.
That came from a very large animal, did it not, Paul?
Yeah, the bit at the end, as it was sort of trailing off, sounded almost metallic. It definitely sounds very sort of, like sort of ape-like, or it also sounds similar to a fox as well. I don't know if you've ever heard a fox screaming. A fox would never come up that loud on a cell phone from that distance, though. But they are very similar in how they sound. I don't know if you can. If you YouTube a scream of a fox, you'll see what I mean.
Matter of fact, I got a buddy that's he's got two different kind of foxes, long-eared fox. He's got them as pets, and they make some creepy ass noises, but they ain't loud like that.
Yeah.
This, I said, was you could feel the bass in it and the reverberation. You could
Yeah.
And it was so fucking loud, dude. It was like being it's at a distance, but you could tell it was almost like being if it was played on speakers in front of us, 20-inch something speakers in front of a sound stage or something. Like that's on, like I said, that's on Lakea's. It's on an iPhone 7 is what she recorded that with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the microphones on them just do not pick up anything from any kind of distance away, unless we're talking about something that's seriously loud, and that's you need to keep that in mind when you're actually taking into account what that noise is.
You see, I'm running it through a amplifier right now just to get it loud enough for that loud right there.
There was a time when I was a young warthog many moons ago. I was up in a place in Scotland. We were camping. It was a few friends of ours, and where the campsite was to where the sort of village was, where the pubs were, was a good walk. It was a good sort of like 3 or 4 mile walk along the coast. and you had the sea on one side, and on the other side you had like all these like sort of deep, dense woods that kind of went up in a steep sort of slope, way up into the mountains kind of thing. And it was bloody eerie walking along there. I mean, I was walking back to the campsite, and I was a little bit drunk. We'd been in the bars drinking, and I'd kind of had my fill, and I was like, right, I'm going. I need to go to bed. I've had the alarm bells were ringing. That I'd drunk too much. So I'm walking back, and I've got these bloody deep dark woods on my left, and on the right I've just got, the Irish Sea. It's utterly black. There's you couldn't see anything. You can just hear it.
Yeah.
And there was a bloody fox up in the woods. Well, what I assumed was a fox, and it was following me. It was tracking me as I was walking along, and it made that screaming noise. And I tell you, just about shit my pants. I spoke to my dad, and he said that I described the sound. He went, "Oh yeah, that's a fox," because my dad's done a lot of hunting, and he knows what foxes sound like. He says, "Yeah, they sound like they make really loud screams." And this bloody thing, it followed me all the way back to the camp, but it kept a sort of distance, and you could never see it, you could never make out what it was, but by Christ, I was imagining all kinds of things, like there's a bloody monster up there trying to get me.
I said, I'm guessing that right there it wasn't no closer than 100 yards. It could have been further than that, but it sounded like it was getting closer. And we were in between a pond and something else in front of us that was very large that I thought, like I said, was kind of amping itself up to like make a charge. And then this thing coming in, I'm like, no, we ain't staying here. I don't even want, I don't think I want to see what this is right this second. And like, I've got two people that have very large guns, and I don't know because I told her, okay, if I tell you to drop, hit the ground and make a ball. Because like I said, I don't know these people. I don't really like it when other people go out that I don't know with firearms, but it's their property. And like I said, how am I going to tell him not to do it? It's his property. I'm a visitor there, and I'm trying to figure out what this is, and like I said, what y'all heard him say, like I said, the way he describes it, because I asked him what kind of sounds, his very words, you just got to hear it to believe it.
There was a thing. There was a where the hell did I see it? It was a YouTube thing on. So a policeman had gone to this, and it was supposedly a Bigfoot, some kind of Bigfoot. He walks into the backyard, and you hear almost exactly the same sound, and the volume is just tremendous in this thing. And the policeman just it's a black fella. You might have seen it. He just like just comes all the way by.
Yeah, he jumped.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, I come across that. It sounds really similar to this right here. Yeah. And he's like,
very similar.
He's like, nope, He turned.
Yeah, he noped out of there so fast for a very big man. Oh, yeah,
it's like stuff that way.
Hey, there's videos of that. That one right there is a short one. There's a longer one where you can hear dispatch. And dispatch, he puts himself back in route. He puts himself back code 8, and and dispatch says it comes back anything to report. He says absolutely not. I'm coming back to I'm coming back. Basically he puts himself back in route to the police station.
Yeah. case unsolved.
Yeah, he's like, nope, I didn't know. Because you can see when he does, I thought he was fixing to jump out of his skin. But hey, when that thing went off, I believe I might have done the same thing, because like I said, when it went off, I kind of stood up straight when that first noise went off the other night, and I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck was that? Because I wasn't expecting to hear that. And I look over kind of him, he's just there. He's got he's got his gun leaned against his shoulder. And like I said, and all of a sudden you hear the pig, and then you hear the pig go do his last wink. He just looks at me and goes, he got another one of my damn pigs. Just like he never breaks that same, like he's talking like he did a while ago. He never breaks that. He never gets excited or nothing else. The only time he got a little agitated, you could tell he got a little bit high strung, is when I told him, I said, we're going this way. And we're going this way. And he goes, well, that's off my price. I don't give a damn. I don't care if Trump owns it. I'm going that way. I know which direction I'm going to get the hell away. Like I said, I wanted to keep a wide open on both sides of me on where the wood line is, because these things were using, I noticed they were using the wood line. I got Lakeia right there at my back. I'm talking about, she's almost got my shirt in her hand, and his son is kind of like trailing up behind us. And I told him, I said, look, dude, you need to get on up here where I can keep an eye. He said, he said, we're pretty much out of the area now. He said, the road's right up here. Well, that's fine. Cause we hit a gravel road and walked back to his house.
Yeah.
But, like I said, they're just nonchalantly and Chaos brought up a thing. Do you think it was somebody? You think they were bullcrapping with you? Well, if they were, they had to have multiple different high range speakers planted around in the woods. And the other thing is, they had to take a risk on somebody running by me, because I had a very high caliber full automatic weapon with me, and Lakeia has got a 357 with
and a face full of makeup.
Yeah, because I put it on. Well, at first she had her 9mm. I was like, when I seen these dudes come out with that, I told them, I said, hold on a second. I went back and changed out from regular AR-15, and I had a 9mm on me. I was like, damn, man, they got fucking elephant guns. Hold on a second, something ain't right here. So I go back and I rearm, and I hand Lakeia a 357, and I look, it's loaded with plus P ammunition. What most people think of cop killers, but it's a round meant to fragment. It's meant to do lots of damage. It's a core bomb plus P. It's meant to put a hole in something.
Were those the ones that they called the Black Talent?
Yes, sir. That's them.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned the prank thing, because there was a thing in the chat where Root had said that he believes that they may have been pranking you. And Mary also has volunteered to hold the microphones on the next excursion.
Yeah, Mary's game. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
she's gonna get strapped up though.
Well, I'm just telling you, for them to do that, it was way elaborate, and it was also very, very freaking dangerous, because they don't know me. They don't know what I'm gonna do.
Guys, you do not fuck around when people have got weapons like that.
Right.
No.
You don't dress up in a bloody werewolf outfit when people have got guns and try and scare the shit out of them. You are risking your life doing something stupid.
Does anybody know what a Beowulf is? In the chat, a 50 caliber Beowulf, because that's what I had. So, like I said, it's not if the round hits you. It's not if it's going to kill you or what. If I hit you in the leg, you have no leg. It's meant to stop cars.
Yeah.
In a Corbon 357 plus P, will disintegrate. I can knock limbs off. I can knock your arm off. If I hit you in the head, you have no head no more. Like I said, like I said, these people did not know me or know nothing else about me. Just like I didn't know them. They didn't know if they had somebody running around up there making the trees move and making all kinds. They didn't know if I was just going to break down and start blasting through the freaking woods. That's just stupid. If they were, like I said, the other thing is, this thing moved. The sound moved. So they would have to have multiple different speakers set up in the woods and play it just at the right time. And the man didn't have a radio with him. He didn't even if he had a cell phone on him, he had it in his pocket. I didn't see it. The son didn't have a radio on him. The only person that had a cell phone out, and I didn't know that until I done got Lakeia for by me, was Lakeia, because she didn't have a camera. All she had, I gave her, was a light. She'd got her phone out because the light had went down dim. She said she couldn't see the ground hardly with it, so she was using a light on her phone, and she just hit record. Like I said, that's what I'm saying. It would had to been it would had to be more stuff involved in it to make a hoax out of it than what it was, because like I said, there was no way for them to tell anybody when to trigger it, and it was so far off. yeah, like I said, you're talking about stage sounding speakers turned all the way up to make these noises. And the other thing is the noises they use. What the fuck did they use? Because I haven't find that animal sound anywhere in nature. I've looked.
That was going to be my sort of comment. How would they have reproduced those sounds?
Well, that, and if you could feel the reverberation from these vocalizations, then I mean, they would have had to been, you know, concert speakers. You know what I mean? Like you would go see like Disturbed or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's
that, and there was no other animals out. The only thing that's out are bugs, and they're about to eat. I'm talking about they're just horrendous with freaking gnats and mosquitoes. Because you're in Mississippi, they got mosquitoes that look like hummingbirds. It's just like I said, there was no animal. If other people would have been in the woods, you would have been running other animals out of the woods. These animals, if they were there, they were hunkered down. They did not want to be seen. They wasn't moving. And I said, that the chaos had already brought that to my attention. The other thing is, you can ask Vamp. She's in the chat. I don't know if Lakea's still here or not. I'm in the house with both of them, talking to them. Lakea is sitting in the beast. Something by the time we got back to Lakea had gotten back in there, had sitting there, had sent the video or sound. I don't know if she sent just video or sound. Which one she sent to Vamp? Vamp will have to answer that. Vamp calls her. Vamp is on the phone with her on speakerphone. Vamp can hear whatever this is stomping and making all kind of grunting, growling noises. Vamp told me herself on over this phone from wherever the wood line. The wood line is probably 75 yards from the truck. That's how loud this thing is. Now, and like I said, Lakea's in a vehicle, and the beast would readily any kind of just about weapon she wants. And like I said, she still has a 357 on her hip.
I have to say though, very well done for the two years to go and actually capture that. You know, took a bit of courage to go there.
I'm used to doing stupid stuff like that all the time. Like I said, the woods to me is like a second home. It's nothing more than you walking out in your front yard. I feel more comfortable in the woods than being in a big ass city. Animals and stuff don't freak me out. People freak me out. Like I said, Lakea, yeah, she got drugged into this. She didn't know what she was getting into, but I tell you what, it sparked an interest in her. And she said, look, if you get me something where I can see at night with even out of light or something, she goes, I want to do this some more. Because she's never really went on any investigations with me like that. I said, well, I don't like doing the night ones a whole lot. She said, well, I don't care. Just in case I want something I know it can just got night on it. Okay. So
I think you should try and get one of those thermal imaging cameras. That's definitely the way to go, I think. You know, where you can actually see the heat signatures.
Yeah, well,
I think you'll start to see stuff then. Because obviously at night, even if you've got night vision camera, they've still got camouflage. They can still hide behind things. But if you've got thermal imaging, it's a lot harder.
For the next 5 shows, and I'm put it out there for the next 5 shows, whatever's made off of these shows, the donations, I think Lakea's already got $15 donated toward her camera fund. Whatever it makes, I'm going to pay the rest of it myself, and I'm going to get her whatever the hell, whatever we need, whatever she needs. I tell you right now, I suck at camera work. Like I said, I screwed up a nice Sony camera the other night. I dropped that sun gun, and it looked like I said, I screwed the damn settings all up on it. I broke one of the buttons. Because when it went off, like I said, my first reaction was I stopped, froze, and I forgot he was even holding the camera, and I let go of the camera, and I reached down and grabbed my primary weapon, like, okay, what the fuck was that? Because I never had heard that sound before. It sounded like a damn war cry of some kind.
Yeah. If you remember a couple of shows back when I was on and we were talking about like how Bigfoot came about and that, we're speaking about like throats, and like the human throat differs from like monkeys and primates.
Yeah, that's
and hominids.
that's what made me. I was saying earlier. It almost sounded like if you listen to this, it almost sounds like there's two of them at one time. But I don't think it was. I think it was just one. I think it was the way it's vocal cords and stuff. Like I said, I've tried to mimic it all week long. I'm pretty good at mimicking animal sounds, and to mimic it, just to half-ass do it. There's so much you got to do with your mouth, your jaw, and your diaphragm.
You never be able to replicate the volume, though.
No, hell no. No. That's what I'm saying. That's the other thing. It wasn't no human doing it. I don't believe a human can replicate this sound because I'm pretty good at damn doing sounds. I can do turkeys. I can do all kind of crap.
And that's why I'm saying it's hard to believe that it would actually be a hoax, because that's not a recording. That's not somebody with a speaker making that noise. That's natural. That's a natural sounding animal making that noise. And to get to that level of volume, you're going to have some kind of sort of vocal gear to do that, and we don't have that. You know, we
Nope.
just can't reach those decibels. And when we're doing a scream like that, you know, but primates and hominids and Bigfoot can.
Like I said, the other thing is, like you touched on, people running around with guns. Like I said, they didn't know me. That's the other thing. There's no way I believe that they had anybody. Because like I said, they didn't have any way to tell anybody to trigger it when they triggered it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like I said,
sorry.
Thank you, Fear. Lakeia says thank you too. I don't know if she's in here or not or whatever, but I know she'll thank you too for it. But the other thing is, like I said, I was inside with both of them, and whatever this was, I didn't even know this was going on out there until Lakeia and Van. Like I said, Lakeia started going crazy with the horn and crap like that in the vehicle, and I come to the door looking at her like, what in the hell are you doing? And she goes, she opens the door. And the door is shut. She opens the door up, kind of leans up out of it because like the beast is up off the ground because she has to crawl to get in this damn thing. She sticks her head out in between the windshield pillar and the door and the door that's open and says, we got to go, and we got to go right fucking now. And I could tell she was badly upset. And I'm thinking, oh shit, she's worse off than I thought. So I turn around and tell the guy, well, I'll holler at you tomorrow. I said, let me get her out of here. I get to the vehicle, and Vamp is still on the phone. And Vamp says, I don't know what the hell was going on out there. She said, but I could hear it coming. It sounded like it's coming towards the vehicle with her in it. Y'all need to get out of there. I look at her and said, what? She goes, there was something right up. She's pointing. So I hit the key, crank it up, and I actually turned to put my lights. Now I've got I got 2 aircraft landing lights on the top of my damn beast. And anybody knows anything about those, they're bright as they're what they call mile long lights. They're used for aircraft to land with. I have 2 of those big son bitches on top of the beast. I light up that whole area out there. I don't see anything. If anything was there, I didn't see it. But I guarantee you, if it don't like light, it damn sure didn't like them. And I left them on until we got all the way back to the main road and shut them off. If I'd have met anybody, I would have burned their retinas out. As much light as I had going on that road.
Yeah, there's no way that you would risk that. You know, trying to trick someone or fool them by scaring them like that. You know, and risk being shot. You know, be stupid to do.
I'm telling you, most anybody else, they would have cut loose with fire. If they'd had a weapon in their hand, they would have started shooting because it sounded like a war cry. And like I said, it wasn't very far off. And then something kept, I don't know if it was leading us or what, because I kept following it and I kept trailing it. It was going towards the creek, not creek, but it's a little bitty stream. He says is what they call a creek. It's a runoff from that pond. It was going back towards that pond. And I was trying to stay kind of parallel towards it, going towards that pond, but we were staying in the open because I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm not going up into the damn brush where I can walk right up onto its belly, you know, and not even know I'm on it. So I'm staying in the open.
Well, I don't know how many times I've heard people talk about, you know, like having a run-in with Bigfoot, but that scream that we heard, it's just how they describe it when it's basically screaming at them to get the hell away. You know, it's a warning to say, hey, get lost. This is our bit, you know.
I
That's
didn't
what it sounded like to me.
I didn't take it as it was wanting to be friends. It sounded like it was pissed off, mad, and to me, I got the feeling. I'm talking about, it was like all of a sudden this rush come over me. You're in a dangerous situation. This is an ambush. They're hunting you. That's the feeling I got. Now, whether it was wrong, right, or whatever, but that's the feeling that come over to me, and that's the way I reacted to it. So like I said, I went uphill into a big opening. And most people, why'd you go uphill? Because I was ahead of them, and going uphill slows you down to start with. Hopefully, it will slow you down. But that was the widest opening, and it was away from where we just were. Because I didn't feel like the direction we just came in was a safe way to go. Because whatever ran past me went from in front of me to behind me, but it was on my right side, and it went back behind. Whatever ran from in front of me went behind us like it was circling. I don't know if what we heard scream was the thing that ran past me and it went up there and got on top of this little hill and screamed at us like that, or what the hell. I felt like we were being hunted, corralled is what I felt like.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've also heard more than once actually people having like almost like an uneasy truce. You know, the people that live alongside areas where Bigfoot are present, and they it's almost like an uneasy tolerance of each other. You know, there's like a line that neither one will cross. You know, and
that's kind of like it is out there at Booger Valley.
Yeah, but what happens is somebody comes into the area that doesn't live there, and all of a sudden, you know, all hell breaks loose because it's like, well, they don't want you there, and it almost sounds like that's what's happened to you and LaCare folk.
Well, I said, born a king. Hold on, mate.
Hey,
how's it going?
It's going good, Barkeeper. How you doing,
man? Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just want to make sure you're all right, man. I saw that video. It was pretty scary.
Oh yeah, we're fine. I got us out of there. Like I said, to date my first hairy, no pun intended, time I've got myself into trouble. But like I said, I was with two people I didn't know how they were going to react, and then I had LaCale with me. And I felt like we were being stalked and hunted. So it was not a good. That's why I don't like to do night investigations, because like I said, all the advantages on whatever the hell is out there you're looking for, because I believe these animals can see way better at night than we can. And like I said, it was dark. You can tell by the video, it's dark. There's no moonlight there. Yeah. You can't see hardly. If you cut all the lights off, you can't see your own hand in front of your face.
Yeah, man. Did you have bear out there? Was bear out there?
No, bear wasn't there because the guy has a dog, probably a 5-year-old German Shepherd, and I don't like to carry bear if I know the other person's got a dog or whatever, because some dogs don't like other dogs, and I didn't want bear to hurt his dog, because I wasn't worried about his dog hurting bear. I was worried about bear hurting him. Bear is 3 times bigger than this dog. Like I said, it's probably a 5-year-old German Shepherd, and. You know, I didn't want to bring. I'm not trying to bring chaos to the area, because I believe they already had chaos going on there, and yeah, it was. I haven't got a hold of the guy again. I want to go back out in the daytime.
Yeah, that's the best bet. You know, and it's interesting because I remember, like it sounded like the Bigfoot. You think that was a Bigfoot?
I don't know what that was, dude. That's what I'm telling you. I've never had a Bigfoot sound like that before. I'm not saying I don't know what the hell it is. All I know is it was big and it was not in a good mood.
Because it sounded like it was making some baby noises. Remember, you guys had Zulu on the show like a few years ago, and he was talking about how when he was down in Texas, he said he had like a Bigfoot that was making like some weird baby noises, and that's what I thought it sounded like. It was weird, man. Like,
I've had other people tell me that they've heard Bigfoot make baby sounds. I personally have never heard them make the baby sounds. That's what I'm saying. All I can say is what I've ever come across and I've heard and I've associated with Bigfoot. These sounds, I've never associated them with any other animal. I can't find an animal on record anywhere in the United States or even outside the United States that sounds like this. The only animal that comes close to it, the two animals, one is too small, like Paul said, the fox. The other
Yeah.
one is not native to the United States. It is a damn hyena, but the hyena makes a little bit different sound as it starts to make its noise. This thing starts out with a scream, roar. Well, like I said, y'all heard it, and the thing is,
Yeah.
it changes tones and it's loud. What y'all hear ain't even an eighth of what it sounds like. Take the best set of headphones you got and amp the noise up, and then turn it wide open and stick those headphones on, and that's what it sounded like to us standing right there.
Oh man. Oh man, that's crazy.
And
Well,
go ahead.
oh yeah, I just want to say, and I hope you guys stay safe. I'm happy that you do what you do, Bob. I hope you, Lakea, and Chaos, you guys keep up the good work. I really appreciate the info, but stay safe out there. All right.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. You guys have a good night. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
But yeah, that's like I said. I just can't stress enough how loud this thing was. When I said that's the thing that automatically kind of kills the whole faking. It was just too fucking loud, and like I said, you could feel the vibration off of this thing. And I know it was a good distance away from us. It was at least 100 yards, maybe a little further, but you could tell it was closing in because it was getting louder and louder and louder. So that meant to me that it was getting closer. So it was time to beat feet. That's what I tell y'all. When I tell y'all animals will let you know when you need to leave. Yeah. To me, that animal was telling me, yeah, you should have been gone. So we left. But like I said, I just don't. If it was a hoax, it was a very, very good planned out hoax, and somebody don't realize how close they come to dying. But I just don't. I've had people try to hoax me before, and no. You can tell. You can tell when something's been recorded and played at you. And like I said, this is no. Like I said, this ain't even an eighth of the volume, and I've got this thing going through an amplifier, and I got the device turned all the way up. It's going through an amplifier, amplifying it up to the point where it doesn't distort, just to get y'all the good sound. If I push it anymore, I'm scared it's going to distort and it's going to screw everything up. But like I said, the other thing is, just to give you an idea, take your cell phone, put it on record on one side of a room. You go to the other side of the room and yell. Come back, play it, and listen to yourself. Then you can get a good idea how loud this thing was, because you're barely going to be picked up. And this thing is, like I said, it's loud, even on this recording, picked up by her cell phone.
Yeah, you can't fake that. It's definitely there. There's no doubt about it.
And like I said, it moved in the way, and as far as it moved and as fast as it moved, the only way they could have done that is they already had speakers set up in the fucking woods, and it would have to been some massive ass fucking speakers. I'm talking about they would have had to have like professional grade sound equipment to play this crap at this level and the way they were doing it, and then they had to have multiple setups, and then see.
Sorry, go on.
And then so you got the pig. You can tell the pig is really low, but this thing is right there where the pig is, and it's like 20 times louder than the pig. What was you gonna say, Paul?
Just it sounded like they've been living with us for a while. Just the way he was kind of being calm about the whole thing, and just what you were saying.
Well, you can ask Chaos. I told him, I said, I don't think this dude's telling me everything. It just from me talking to him and stuff, it just didn't make any sense. And then it's calm and it's cool as he is, because I'll play it again. He's just talking about it. Anybody else that I've ever heard or ever interviewed that, hold on, I got to get to it. Here it is.
All right, folks. We kind of having a little improv little thing tonight because guy that I've said something before about having some problems on his property, he's called me again tonight, and I'm gonna let him kind of explain what's going on. For mostly, like I said, we don't know exactly what we're dealing with. All we know is something keeps coming up here, aggravating him and breaking into areas that they shouldn't be. What all have you had go on?
Something's breaking into my chicken coops, my pig pens, and just any farm animal out here on the property.
And you've heard loud, strange.
You just got to hear it to believe it.
That right there.
I told you.
You got to hear it to believe it. He won't even try to describe what it is. In like I said, you can tell I wasn't ready to actually do like an interview with him. Like I said, this was a spur of the moment thing. I'm talking about Lakea hadn't been here 2 minutes. The call comes in and I tell her, well, I got to run out the door. She's like, I just got here. And she's like, okay. I said, well, come on, go with me. And we're just going to go out there and check, see what he's getting, what's going on. I didn't actually go to do a fucking night investigation. And cause I don't like doing night investigations. And it's like, dude, if you don't come out here and do this right here, I'm just going to call somebody else. And I don't know who he's going to call. I have no idea. That's not even a question I thought to even ask him. I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask him who else was he going to call?
Well, the other thing there though as well is he's basically saying, come and see for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, because he tells me, he said, man, I don't believe you're going to believe us until you come out here and see this.
He's not just saying this is happening. He's saying, no, come and see for yourself. So that tells me right away that it's a genuine encounter.
Yeah, because like I said, he didn't even try. Because I kept asking, well, describe what he said. I can't describe it. He said, you're just gonna have to hear. You're just gonna have to hear it. He said, yeah. He said, I said, you can't even get. He said, I don't believe you'd believe me. He said, dude, I'm not messing with you. He said, there's something here. So, like I said, but he may just be that kind of person. You got some people that are like it. Like I said, I don't get excited and when stuff goes on and stuff.
Yeah, but if you had something in your backyard, right, that was coming every night or whatever, and you knew you could actually show it to someone, you wouldn't like try and convince them. You would just say, look, come and see this. You have to come and see this. And that's what he's basically done with you. Yeah.
See, I didn't look at it in that form, and you're right. And like I said, the one thing I didn't ask either, and I didn't realize it until I just heard it just then. I don't know who else he was going to call, but like I said, he was adamant. I want somebody to come. I guess it was like to prove he was sane or whatever. But like I said, if you listen to Lakea, you can tell in Lakea's voice and the way she sounds, and it's hard to fake being that scared, and she was scared.
Well, everyone should know by now the ridicule that you face if you come out and say, hey guys, I've seen Bigfoot, and he lives on my property, and I'm putting my stake in the ground here and saying, yep, they're real. He's going to come under all kinds of attacks. Yeah. And he's avoided that situation. He just said, no, just come and see for yourself.
Oh, I've run into that myself, especially with Booger Valley. And when I did the second part of Booger Valley, like I said, literally, I know for a fact that from a little bitty thing, and my grandfather said they dealt with it way back before. The sheriff that was there then, like I said, all that y'all heard in part 2, that was kind of like the way it went. I'm with one of the deputies and the new sheriff, and the new sheriff is trying to make a name for himself, and he wasn't out to put up with no bull crap. Basically, I put myself on the radar as a suspect because the way I was talking, and like I said, when that sucker went off with what I call the siren sound, and like I said, it sounds like a train is coming through the woods, and there ain't no train track back there. His eyes, dude, I swear to God, looked like somebody just shoved a 747 up his ass. And he looked, he goes, what the hell? I won't never forget that. He looked at me and what the hell is that? And I remember to this day, I said, that right there is what you don't believe exists. He said, man, what kind of, his very words were, what kind of monkey business is this? I said, well, I don't know if it's a fucking monkey or what the hell is what the hell they are.
A big monkey.
Well, look, him, that dude, him and his little deputy, Barney Fife looking fucker, decided they were gonna run off the porch and run around. And I told, ho, where the fuck you going? First off, you ain't got no permission to be here. Secondly, I don't think you want to do that. Because they gonna have another fucking election a lot sooner than what they thought.
There's 747 up his ass.
Yeah, I'm telling you that I will never forget that expression that come over his face. Because the only thing he didn't do was spit coffee. He just took a gulp. I think he just swallowed his coffee. If it wouldn't been for that, I'd have been wearing his coffee. Because I'm talking about
Huffy's done that.
Look, the deputy was leaned up against one of the posts there, and he slammed his side into the post, standing up so straight when it did it, because that's how scared I said that shit was so funny I can't forget it. But like I said, they both just tore off the porch and started around. Whoa, where the fuck are y'all going? Man, we're going look, and then the deputy seen one because he's shining a light down there. And before I could, and I was trying to tell him they don't like that shit. And he's steadily just holding. Now he's using a Surefire light, and they're like back then. I think it was like 300 lumens was the biggest you could get. That's pretty fucking bright because they probably wasn't about 70 yards away. And dude, that light went from a steady beam to it looked like a disco ball. He's taking so hard. And I was trying to tell him, turn that motherfucker off. They don't like that shit. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not fit. You start a fight, you on your own, Bubba. What the hell is that? That's what you don't want to be fucking with down there. I think that's what that boy fucked with, and y'all might find some bits and pieces, but he's gonna be in long turds. But like I said, I don't want to give nothing away, but on that's almost done, y'all. I keep running into every damn obstacle in the sun trying to get that freaking done for everybody. Like I said, this last week I've done nothing but just trying to figure out this shit right here. Like I said, I've burned the internet up trying to figure out different sounds. I've tore up my shop, everything else, going through different sounds that I have recorded and stuff, trying to figure out. Chaos dropped out. I don't know what he did. But I've tried to find something that the closest thing I found is the Red Fox makes a sound similar to that, but it's really, really freaking low. And then the hyena, but the hyena makes that noise right before it hello.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button again.
I'm not the only one that does that.
It's a spider. It's a spider that did it.
Yeah, the spider could. Spider said, "I'll show you."
One of the things that makes me wonder as well is, like we don't have like nocturnal vision. We've got very poor night vision, and our sense of smell is really poor as well compared to when we look at like other animals. And I just wonder if when you're coming across these situations where you get these almighty screams, if they're actually giving out a lot of other signals that we're just not aware of, and they're just thinking we're being damn rude by ignoring them, and eventually it's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Jesus, are you sure it wasn't you standing in the woods screaming that night? Holy.
Yeah, maybe.
Mary asked a question. Yeah, that's something I hadn't got. I forgot to even tell anybody about how the guy got a hold of me. All right. Now y'all got to remember I'm countrified. A friend of a friend from church, or not from church I go to, but I have several friends around the area from like 3 different communities, sheriff's departments that I know. One of their friends from a friend in church got a hold of a buddy of mine that I've known since I was a little bitty vault, and was telling him, look, I need somebody to come out. And I've got some crap going on my property, and he asked him what it was. At first he thought it was, people stealing his stuff. And then when he started listening to him, he's like, no, this is out of my realm. But I know a guy that you need to talk to. That's how that got put over on me. And he called me and asked me, he said, can I give this guy your number? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll give it a listen to. You can't be no crazier than some of the people I've talked to. Well, I'm telling you, I had a lady one time. I had a lady one time try to convince me that Bigfoot was using a portal to come into her kitchen, and he was. You remember that, Chaos? He was eating all the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches up at night, and I was like, "What do you mean he's eating?" He said, "Well, I love peanut butter and jelly, and I make me sandwiches and leave them in the refrigerator, and I come back in there at night, and he ate all of them." Huh?
So in other words, her husband blamed Bigfoot. Oh, Jesus.
No, her husband was dead. I think he killed himself to get away from her.
Starting to make sense now, I think.
Jelly sandwiches.
Dude, I'm telling you, look, I've had the dude.
I really have a hard time believing that portal stuff.
Look, all right, this is my whole thing with that. I'm not going to call nobody a liar, but I'm going to put it into analogies the way my mind works. If Bigfoot can use a portal to go from A to B to C to D to E, why the hell does he ever get seen crossing a road? Why the hell does he ever leave a track? So, okay, why is he? What is he gets portal tokens? He can only use the portal so many times that day, or how does that work?
Well, if he can make a portal, why is he living in the woods and foraging, in the dirt kind of thing? Why would he not be more advanced and sophisticated?
See, you're on my line of thinking. Like I said, it just and I've had them try to convince me they can cloak. Okay, what do you mean by cloak? They putting something, wrapping something around them. No, they can cloak. Like the Klingons do. They'd go invisible. Well, if he can do
I don't believe that, but I'll tell you something, Volt. There's plenty of animals out there that can become invisible pretty damn quick. As soon as they stop moving, you have a hell of a time spotting them.
Oh yeah, see, that's why I made sure. I was like, "What do you mean by cloaking? You talking about like wrap something around them, or they just, or they blend in? No, they do like a Klingon. I will never forget that Klingon. I said, what? Star Trek, a Klingon. They go invisible. They go really invisible. Yeah, you can't see them. They project everything from behind them in front of them. The fuck what do you mean they project? Oh, okay. No, but my thing is, all right, if they can do that, then why do we ever see them? Why don't they just stay like that all the time?
Right, like if they can bend light like the Predator. Yeah, there we go.
The other one, Chaos can tell you about this. If you're listening, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just telling you, you made it hard for me and Chaos and several other people to believe it. This thing was supposed to be 28 feet tall. Oh. It would lift the roof off of people's houses, reach in and grab them, and it ate its own lips off because it stayed hungry all the time. Do you remember that, Chaos?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. If you're listening, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just telling you, you made it very hard for me to take you seriously, because if something is 28 foot tall and it's going around lifting people's roofs off, I believe it would have done got a little bit more attention than it has. And
and I'm pretty sure that the Air Force would have sent in F-22s for that bad boy.
Yeah. I said, I've had people try to convince me of a lot of strange stuff. Now, I've seen a lot of strange stuff that don't make any sense, but some of it just I can't. I'm not. It's just like now the whole paranormal thing. I'm not saying that that people, they can't be a paranormal Bigfoot, because I believe anything that is living has a soul. That's just my belief. If you don't believe that same way, that's fine too. Dogs, cats. Have you ever heard of somebody say that, they lost a pet and then they could hear, they may have thought they seen that pet or heard that pet or whatever? I believe that was their soul coming back, just visiting or whatever. Why couldn't it be?
Dude, I can vouch for that, because an apartment that I had at one time had a ghost cat in it that interacted with my cat. that I had at the time. So I'm there. I can totally get down with that.
Okay.
You know?
Well, who's to say there couldn't be a ghost squatch? You know, I'm not saying there can't be. It could fall right into there.
I know for a fact you can get ghost cats because I've seen one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can get a ghost cat, a ghost dog, I've seen ghost deer. That was a weird one. I was hunting, and I know for a fact it was a ghost deer because I shot at this bastard about 80 yards away from me, around about. The round went right through it, hit the damn dirt right behind. You could see the dirt, and it just turned and looked. I know for a fact I watched the round pass right through this thing. It walked right up to the side of the hill and kind of like dematerialized, vaporized into nothing. I'm like, well, I'm not telling nobody about that one.
Yeah, that's staying safe with me right there.
Yeah, that happened to me long time ago. But anyway, so who's to say there can't be a ghost Bigfoot? Who's to say somebody might see a ghost? But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like the other night when that animal came by me, I know it was flesh and blood. It was because it was moving the air, because you could hear when it went. Have you ever had something go by you and it made it sounded like air just went, just the breeze, you could feel it. That's how fast this damn thing and how big it was. But it was just absolutely just dark ass black, because I could see it in the night.
Well, that's like you're walking down the street and a car goes by you doing 50 miles an hour. You're going to feel the wind from that. It's going to make that whoosh. So whatever the hell that was moving extremely fast.
Well, I know a Scotch can keep up with a damn automobile doing 30 miles an hour with no problem. I can tell you that. I've seen it do it. I've had one do that to me and actually outrun me and cross the damn road in front of me.
Jeez.
And I said, I know they're fast, but this thing right here, I can't tell you that all I know is what he told me. The field was roughly 60 yards across. I didn't see it until it was like right on top of me and went right by me, but I didn't hear it. I just heard the wind. Yeah, I seen it, heard the wind, and it was gone. It moved. Like I told Chaos, I said, if I would have blinked during that time, I would have never seen it. That's how fast it was. I've never seen a Squatch move that fast. That sucker was trucking. I'm telling you, whatever the hell it was moving, and was moving. You could, but the thing is, though, this is the other thing that I don't remember. But I just don't remember. I don't remember hearing the sound of anything coming towards me. I don't remember hearing boom, 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 boom. I don't remember that.
Do you think there could have been more than one?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe it was more than one. I definitely believe, because there was something in front of us that was just cutting up in the woods. Like I said, a juvenile Sasquatch, a teenager, usually right before they charge, they'll kind of like amp themselves up. It's like, they're getting themselves big and, you shouldn't be out here doing this. They amp themselves up. Then they'll charge you. That's what I thought this was doing. That's the reason why I held steady right there in that field, because I didn't want to have my back turned when it did, because I was going to put that light right in its face. I've stopped them before, using it several times. You shine a damn a spotlight with 10,000 power candle in their face at that distance. Yeah, it locks them down. I can take and blind you where it incapacitates you with it.
I've heard that before as well. People using flashlights to actually stop them. One thing a Bigfoot does not realize is that we cannot see in the dark.
I don't know if they do. I don't know if they realize it or not, but I know they can see really, really well in the dark. I don't know how. I believe they see in a different light spectrum than we do, because I believe they can see infrared. I don't know. I don't know how well they can. I just know they can pick it out, because I've seen them avoid infrared cameras.
Well, when you look at the skulls of hominids, they had huge eye sockets. Definitely 100% had night vision. Much better night vision than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Paul, I got a question for you. Now I know in in Ireland, the Fae are extremely big, and what I mean by that is that they're well known. There's a very strong belief in that. Is that kind of like the same in Scotland, where you're originally from?
In all honesty, I don't know. It's not something that I'm well versed in at all.
Well, the reason why I asked is because of the simple fact that, I mean, Fae are not creatures of this world. I don't believe that. I don't believe that they are. So they got to get in and out somehow. You know what I mean? And like I said, and even Mary had put it in the chat. I was just kind of wondering the credence could there be a natural portal there? You know what I mean? Where yes, this is a flesh and blood creature, but not being from our, so I guess you could say, plane of existence, it would seem very unnatural and supernatural to us. But then again, I mean, you think about that because of the way it moved and the whooshing and just all of these different things. But then again, it acts very Sasquatch-like with the throwing of the rocks and the way it moves and, you know, making all the noise that it did. It's kind of weird. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. You know what I mean?
Shit, you should have been.
But you know, I don't really know much about it. The only thing I've really sort of looked into was the Grey Man, and you know, that was definitely some type of hominid or Bigfoot.
The Grey Man.
The Grey Man, yeah, in Scotland. Yeah, that's the only one that I really sort of I've kind of paid any heed to. You know.
Is that the one where it's what's the name of the mountain? Something Dulac or something like that?
Well, I mean, obviously you've got the whole. There's a hell of a lot of mountain ranges in Scotland, and that's his backyard basically.
Shit, yeah.
So, sorry.
I said, you ain't lying. It is. The other thing is, people don't realize too. You can testify to this. That ain't a place you want to walk around in pitch black dark because there's crevassed. You can be. It may look like it's flat ground, but there'll be a fucking open. It'll be a giant fucking opening in the ground that you just ain't no telling how deep it is, and you're gone.
Well, the mountains in Scotland are some of the most dangerous mountains in the world, not because of how big they are, but by how changeable they are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, things change around you so quickly that it catches people and kills them. So many people die of exposure in Scotland because, you know, they've gone up the mountains on a blazing hot day, and then before you know it, you're in Arctic conditions. You know, they die of exposure, hypothermia.
There was one guy that went missing for a long time up in the mountains up in there. Yeah. And they finally found him after a boulder had eroded up and around. They found his bones. He looked like he had went up under the edge of a crevasse or something and like set up camp. And during the night, I guess sometime this giant fucking boulder, like the size of a semi, turned her loose and fell on him.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been all over Scotland, and there's so many areas that they're all interlinked. You know, it's impossible to say that, you know, that you go to this area and this is where you see evidence of it. The whole country is open to them. There's so many corridors that they can use. Cities are so far apart. You know, it's only when you get to like main motorways that cut the country in half that I suggest that you'd have a real chance of sighting them. But these things seem to stick to the hills. You know, the mountains.
The other thing are the damn moors. Y'all don't understand.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know what peat is, peat moss and stuff is. You can be walking across, you think is solid ground, and all of a sudden you're gone because it's not solid ground. It's gelatinous. I don't know how to describe it, but it's actually moss that is compounded on top of itself over years and years.
Okay. It's boggy. Yeah. They call it boggy. Basically, you're walking in bogs. You can get sucked down into them, depending on how boggy it gets. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I forgot what bunch it was that were going across there, but years and years ago, back to like during King Arthur times, they're now digging out whole freaking damn carriages and stuff out of the bogs that sunk while they were on these trips.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. I've heard that as well.
But like I said, that place is not a place that you just wander around, especially in the dark, just blindly, because you probably won't be seen no more. And it ain't because of a cryptid or another animal. It's because the land itself will swallow you up.
Yeah. Well, you're dealing with. I mean, if it's true, I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't know. But you know, but if it's true, you're dealing with a creature that you know, can outthink you, can outsmell you, outhear you, outsee you in any environment. And if it's going to be seen, it's because it chooses to be seen.
And see, that's another thing. I see a lot on these TV shows and stuff like that. You got these guys that'll go spend thousands of dollars on ghillie suits and all kind of stuff like that, and camouflage, and they get out there and they think they're hiding from something. I'm gonna tell you something. If there's one there, by the time you get there, open your door and shut your door, they know you're there. Within a couple of miles, if they're within a couple of miles of you, and you're not going to hide from them, because I believe, not, I can't prove it. I believe a Bigfoot has a smell better than a hog, and a damn hog has a better smell than a dog.
Yeah.
Because we can find truffles underground.
Yeah. I think the people that seem to have the most success in actually finding them are hunters. You know, people that know how to mask their smell and conceal themselves from other animals. These are the ones. But even when you do hear a hunter's actually like sighting a Bigfoot, it's only for brief moments that the Bigfoot is actually unaware of the hunter. Then all of a sudden, as if by magic, it's suddenly aware that the hunter's there and it's gone.
Well,
I don't know how many times I've heard that.
I'm gonna send. I'm gonna try to put this up. More. Forward. Nope, that ain't right. I'm gonna put a picture. Lakea got a picture of me from the back, and I'm gonna show you how I usually dress. Now, to me, this is. I can go out dressed just like this in the daytime, go into any wooded area, just about it, and I can disappear dressed like this. And I'm not in camouflage. This is my everyday. I dress like this all the damn time. Where the hell is it at?
Well, hey, gentlemen, I'm going to have to cut out on this one. I'm sorry, but I've been up for about 22 hours now, and I'm kind of starting to nod off here. So, brother, awesome show so far. Paul, I will definitely get at you tomorrow. And everybody in the chat, little sis, everybody, much love, and hope you guys have an awesome night.
Cheers, Chaos. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Sleep well, buddy.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to pass right out. But good night, all.
All right.
Good night.
Man. I'm trying to send this to me. That way I can. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, I'm trying to get into this so I can. There we go. Download. Here we go. All right, screen share. Oh, I'll do that in just a second. Let me get it open first.
Is it like a ghillie suit you've got?
Nope. You'll laugh your ass off. Hold on just a second. Screen share. There we go. There you go. That's a picture of Vault from behind. That's the way I dress 90% of the time.
It's quite a light colored shirt you've got.
It's like an olive green. Khakis.
Is that coming through on the chat though? On the YouTube one?
Yep. That's everybody.
Right. I see it. Yeah. Just came through on that one first.
Like I said, my arms are. This is during the time that when I first, like I said, there's a camera laying somewhere right there to the right, to my right side, because I dropped it and turned, and like I said, in my hands is a weapon, because as soon as that went off, I didn't recognize it, and I'm thinking that sounds like something fixing to charge us. That's what I'm saying. You don't really for it to have been a hoax. Somebody was putting their life, they just don't understand, in way, way danger. Because, like I said, people don't, like I said, if you want to know what I mean by that, is go look up what a 50 caliber Beowulf can do. They were designed to stop cars at checkpoints. I can destroy an engine block at about 75 yards. I'm talking about A car, it will riddle. It'll go through one end, right out the other, through you and everything else. Like I said, when I seen what they had, I was like, hell, I ain't got something. Let me go get something bigger, because you got two guys coming out with a 12 gauge shotgun loaded with 3.5 inch slugs, 1 ounce piece of lead. Now, think of your thumb. That's the size of the lid. Then you got this other boy that's got a double barreled 45-70. Like I said, that's designed to take down Cape buffalo with one shot, stop it like right in its tracks. Elephant.
Yep.
I see that and I'm like, I feel a little underpowered. Let's go back and try this again.
Kind of speaks volumes as to what they're kind of almost afraid of, or what they fear they might have to actually shoot at.
Like I asked the boy, I was like, "You elephant hunt very much?" He's like, "Well, no, but it serves the purpose or something like that." Okay, I've only ever seen one of those guns once, and it wasn't even in the United States when I saw it. A 45-70, to give people an idea of the round, take your index finger, and hold it out. That the hole, not the bullet that goes in the end of the hook, but the hole is the same size of your index finger, length and everything. Then it's got a 450 grain bullet packed in the end of it. And this is a double barrel, so he's got 2 shots right there. I've never shot one. I've seen somebody shoot one, and it don't look like it's that fun to shoot. It looks like it's one of those guns, we call it kills on both ends. A shoulder breaker. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's got a big kick on it, basically.
Yeah, like I said, I'm thinking when I seen that, I'm like, so I go put my M4 up, and like I said, well, I put the upper half of the M4 up, the 50 caliber Beowulf. The only thing different, all you have to do on a AR platform is you just push 2 pins out, and you take the 50 caliber upper that already is barreled receiver and everything else. You put it on top of it, push 2 pins back, reach over and grab a magazine that actually will load. You can load 5.56 in. You just it's single stack instead of double stack. You just take and put that right into it. It's the way it was designed. It was designed for the military to be easily used, because if you can shoot an M4, you can shoot this. That's the way it was designed. And like I said, you got way more firepower. I said it's not designed to shoot long range. 150 yards is about the max on this gun. I'm talking about that you could actually hit something you're aiming at.
Well, so are you planning on going back to this area at all?
Yes, I definitely am, but I want to go back in the daytime.
It sounds to me like there's a lot more going on there than meets the eye, and maybe it's a case of you sort of reassuring this fella and getting to know him a bit better. You might actually get a bit more information out of him. That's what I've been doing, because he was gone all this last week. Like I said, he buys and sells. How he makes a living? He makes a living buying and selling farm animal. He took what was left of his pigs to a sale, and then I think he was in the middle of buying some goats or something. He had to go get. I'm not exactly sure what. I know he was carrying what was left of his pigs, because he told me, he said, I've lost so many piglets that I'm lost this year. He said I won't even break even with what he does is he buys pigs, female sows that have already been bred. He gets the piglets off those. He keeps the sow and sells the piglets to basically recoup his money. Basically he's got the sow for free, and then he's got hogs that he can have rebreed back with her. Is how he does that. He was going to sell the rest of those and buy. I think he said it was either goats or sheep or something, but he was doing that because he was going to use those to help. I think it was goats, because he was going to use those to help clean out some more of the area. Goats will eat any fucking thing. They'll strip the bark off of trees as high up as they can reach. He was going to get those and pin them in some areas where he wanted some more stuff cleaned out. But like I said, he's been gone all this last week, so
and he don't want anybody on his property unless he's there.
It'd be interesting to actually go there in the day and just have a look around and see if you can see any tracks. You know,
well, see, everything is grassy. I'm talking about it's just like a meadow. It's grassy. That's why I was headed towards that pond. It's because in my head, my thought is pond equals mud. Let's see if we can find what kind of track. Anything, any animals around there, it's going to get thirsty eventually. It's more than likely got to go to that pond, fresh water. So I found a lot of good tracks or sign around ponds. That's where I was headed. But when we get over there, like I said, it's a little wood lot that you got to go through. That's probably about 25 to 30 feet wide. It's just massive. I mean, it's just growed up. And this thing is right on the other side of it, right up in this wood line, you know, just smashing shit. And it sounds like it's breaking shit. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go up in this damn thicket because I don't know if I'll run up on it or not, because basically you can't just walk through it. You got to get on your hands and knees and crawl through the bottom where it's thinner at to get through it. There's not a hole there to get into.
You don't know what's going to be there waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I can't see. There's no way, especially a lot. No, my luck. I would have been I'd have been crawling through and run up on feet or something, and then be like, "Oh shit!"
Well, after hearing that, there's no way I'd be crawling through there. No chance.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm dealing with because I did not recognize the sound. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell this is, and I'm going through my head of everything. Okay, well, could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? And I'm replaying in my head, you know, sounds over the years I've heard, and I haven't never heard nothing that sounds like this. And like I said, it's big. I can tell it's big, and it don't sound like it's in a good mood. So I'm like, I think I'm going to stay, because I made a comment to him in the video that I'm going to put up that I'm like, you really keep your place. You know, I'm really surprised you keep your place really, really clean, really clean. He said, well, it's just easier to get around that way. I'm telling you, I believe you could drive a car around and most of his land, because it's just that clean. And I've never seen it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money to keep that place up like that. Because he probably spends on average a month 50 hours or more. I'm going to say just on the low side of just bush hogging. That's probably more than 100 gallons of diesel. That's a lot of money right there just in diesel. Just to be doing it. To me, he's doing it for a purpose, because these animals didn't really come out except for that one that ran by me or whatever the hell it was. It stayed in those wood lines. It didn't really come out. And like I said, I think the reason why it came out of the wood line and ran past me is because it didn't have no other option to do that except for to get past me. Was it ran through the dark through that area, but that so much was so damn fast, I couldn't have done shit. That thing could have run over me and cut me up or stomped me or bit me or whatever, and there was nothing I could have done.
Yeah,
because it was that fast.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, if you've never actually been in front of like animals that can move, you've got no appreciation for how quick they can move and how helpless you would actually be in that situation. Unless you've got a bear on it coming towards you with a gun, you really don't stand much chance of actually stopping them.
No, and then if you don't hit it right above and most people would shoot at the head. You don't shoot at the head when a big bear is a grizzly bear is attacking you. You actually aim for the hump on its behind its neck, and you're aiming for the spinal cord so you can drop it. Because I've heard of people shooting a bear with a 357. I've heard of people shooting them with a shotgun, even a 308 when they were charging them, and they didn't live through it because the bear still got to them. Now, the bear went off after a while and died, but the bear was able to get through, still maul them, kill them, and go off. But if you break that spine, that bear is going to collapse right there.
Yeah.
But you know how hard it is to do?
Sorry, go on.
I said, you know how hard it is to do when an animal's charged?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your adrenaline's pumping, your hands are shaking, and you know it's life or death, basically.
When I first started, I used to bear hunt. When I first started bear hunting, the guy told us, don't waste your time trying to shoot it. Try to find you a pretty good sized tree as it's running at you. Go diagonally, get behind a big tree. He said it may scratch you or claw you. He said, but it when you do that, usually they'll stop and they'll turn because you're out of their sight. That you're not right in their visible sight. That and it puts a barrier between you and them. But he said that's the worst thing to do is stand there and stand your ground and try shooting them. He said it's going to piss them off even more, and they're just going to maul the shit out of you.
Yeah, I was listening to a fella. He was on TV actually, and he was like a hunter that was taking people under his wing and taking them hunting. And he'd taken this fella hunting bear, and he shot this grizzly, and he told him, he says, "Look, when we shoot the bear, you make no noise after you've shot the bear. You just let the bear die. If you make any kind of noise, and the bear can get a bearing on you, it will become adrenalized, and it will get up and it will come after you.
Yep.
Even though it's dying, this is the adrenaline that pumps through it afterwards will be enough to get it up off the ground, and it will come at you, and it will basically tear your head off." So this fella had shot this grizzly. It was a bloody big one as well, and this thing dropped straight away, and the instructor signaled to him not to make any noise. And they sat and waited for, it must have been something like, I don't know, 20 seconds. And this fella turned to him and said, "Hey, I think we got this sucker," And of course the instructor just like almost silently screamed like, "No," And all of a sudden you just had this, and the bear suddenly heard them and wasn't dead, and all of a sudden you could hear this almighty clambering through the underbrush as this bear was trying to get to them, and he's thinking, "Oh shit!" And he's thinking, this bear's going to come tearing through this underbrush, and then all hell's going to break loose. What's he going to do? And he's thinking, the instructor's thinking, just get the hell out of there, every man for himself, But the bear never actually came. It just eventually got quieter and quieter, So after a good 10, 15 minutes, they went to investigate. And they found the bear, and all around it, all the vegetation had been churned up, and there was a bloody great big hole where the bear had actually dug itself into the ground. And what had happened was they'd shot through the hump that you're talking about, and it had severed the tendons that attached the head to the to these big shoulder muscles that they've got. So as the bear tried to catapult itself forward off its paws, it couldn't actually lift its head. So what ended up happening was it just kept digging a hole for itself. And when they found it, its head was basically right underneath its body, with its nose almost touching its backside, because how much it had dug. And it was just pure luck that they managed to sever this tendon. Otherwise, this bear would have been on them.
Yeah. I tell you, another animal that does some crazy stuff when you shoot them. It ain't just that animal; it's the other animals around it. A hog. You shoot a big hog, when it starts squealing or whatever, if it doesn't die right away, if there's any other hogs around it, they will actually jump on that pig that's making all that noise. And then they're going to, when they get finished with that, they come looking for you. I've seen them running butt trees and everything else. Hog hunting is very dangerous. It's actually more dangerous than bear hunting.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The last time I went bear hunting, it was in I think it was in the upper part of Colorado, But anyway, they told us, look, they had gotten some special tags where we could go out and harvest one more bear than what we were supposed to. And I was like, well, why are they doing it? He said, no, because the elk hunters and the deer hunters are having so many problems because the bears hear that noise of that gun going off, and instead of running away, they run towards them because they know usually there's fresh game laying on the ground, easy for the pickings. And the bears were taking the fucking elk and the deer away from the other hunters, trying to, that were killing them. So they had to clear some of them out because they'd gotten so dangerous where instead of the bears running from the sound of a gun, they were coming towards it.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I've also heard hunters killing like elk and they're harvesting the meat, and the bear's just sitting there watching them, waiting, because they know that once the hunters harvested the meat, it's going to leave the carcass, and the bear will have it. and that's that's the smarter of the bears kind of thing.
Mary, you're right. Most people don't know that a pig will eat a human body. The pigs will eat meat. Pigs will eat everything but your
They'll eat anything.
yeah. But there was actually in Arkansas, there was I don't know what you want to call. I guess you want to call it the Hill Folk Mafia or whatever you want to call them. But they were like an organized crime. They were going around killing people. Well, they could never find the bodies, and what they were doing was catching the people, carried them to a pig farm, and they'd kill them, and they would undress them and throw the bodies over into the damn thing. And by the next morning, there was nothing. There wasn't a fingernail left of the damn animal or the damn person, and they could never find bodies to prosecute them. But finally, they figured out what they were doing.
It's quite a sinister story of what the mafia used to do in Italy. Actually, they used to get the pigs. They would get like a sort of human sort of body type sort of doll, and they would fill it with like sweetmeats and that, and they'd put the tasted morsels at the feet, and they would train the pigs to eat from the feet up when they threw these dolls in, so that when they actually threw the poor victims in, they would get eaten feet first, and get to watch what was happening to them, before the pigs actually made their way up. This was like a fear tactic they used to get people to do as they were told, kind of thing. It's quite barbaric when you think about it.
Yep, I've heard that same story. Matter of fact, it was put on a couple of movies. I think the most famous one was the Hannibal Lecter movie. But yeah, the mafia over there in Italy actually did that. And that's another reason why most Italians don't eat pork, because of what they used to feed them, because they associate that with the human. You ever heard you are what you eat, or that the pig?
Well, funnily enough, the human flesh is supposed to taste the most like pig. Funny enough, it's the closest meat that although that's what I've heard. I don't know.
I've heard the same thing. Well, they call humans long pig. I've heard it several times, and I don't plan on never trying it. I have no intention to. But
well, there's a lot of medical research being carried out where pigs are actually growing, like organs and that for human.
I know that. I know that in the Amazon, there's a couple of tribes down there that they call them man eaters, and they call them that for a reason. They say if you see them, your best bet is to shoot them, because they will try to kill you and eat you. I said, luckily I never come across any of them little bastards, but it's like some of these people that it's been several years ago. I was at a Bigfoot convention. I think it was at Nahabi, where we were at, and they were having this big long discussion. I was kind of sitting there, and some of these people are just stupid. They believe that Bigfoot is this hairy creature that wants to be actually friends with you, and he means no harm. He's a protector of the woods. I'm here to tell you, them bastards, if you make them mad enough, they will kill you, and yes, they will eat you. They will either their opportunity. They don't leave a meal. So go out there and try to make friends with them if you want to. You just remember, you piss.
Yeah, well, if they don't know where the next meal's coming from, and you happen to present yourself, I'll leave the rest for you to decide.
Yeah, well, I'm just telling you, they ain't no friendly forest creature. They want to be left alone. Is actually what I believe. To my belief, I don't believe they want to have anything to do with us. And like I said, if you get one pissed off enough, and he jumps on you, you fixing to be human kibbles and bits, and later you're gonna be you're gonna get to see the northbound end of a southbound Sasquatch.
Well, I'll tell you, there's loads of stories of Sasquatch eating humans. We call them, back in the day, we called them ogres and trolls and all the rest of it. Because some of them are real ugly sons of bitches.
Yeah, the ones up north, way up north, like around Canada, the Yellowknife, and up around Anchorage and stuff. They don't look like the ones down this way. They did.
No.
They look totally. They're way. First day they're way fucking bigger. The biggest one I ever seen was up there, and like I said, they're massive. I'm talking about. Everybody knows what a cargo container is. The one like on the back of 18 where you see them putting stuff in.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've seen one rip the doors off one of those.
Yeah.
And anybody wants to know how heavy that is, just get around one and swing it back and forth. I've seen one reach and grab it, and like I said, rip the door. I've seen one hit the side and vent it in.
Well, we discussed a couple of shows ago about different types of Bigfoot. I mentioned you got the big Bigfoots, bit like Paddy that we saw in the Bob Gimlin film. But then you've got like your Yetis. These are like almost gorilla-like Bigfoots. They're huge, And then you've got the Almas, and I think that's what you've got going around with. When you said that they're not like them, you said that they're sort of a bit smaller. I think they're probably the Almas, and then you got the Agogways as well, which are the pygmies of the group, but they're more towards like hot countries and jungles.
Yeah, the biggest one I've seen over in Booger Valley. I'm gonna say the biggest one I've seen. We're gonna stay in the southern area. And like I said, y'all got to remember something. There ain't no way you can stand up, tape measure up next to these sun guns. This is a rough guesstimate. See them standing up beside something later on. You can try to go back or whatever. It might have been about 8 foot. May have been a little shorter. May have been a little taller. I'm gonna guess around 8 foot. That's a big ass fucking animal.
They found a hominid. It was Homo erectus actually, Lake Tracanaboy, and I'd suggest that this what Lake Tracanaboy was basically the Bigfoot, the Paddy type one. He was 12 years old, 6'6", far more robust than any like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Any bone in Arnold Schwarzenegger's body, this thing would just dwarf him. And it's just 12-year-old, 6'6", and you just don't know what that's going to grow to be. It's going to be a hell of a lot bigger than 6'6", that's for sure. And the breadth of shoulder on it, the size of the bones, easily talking anywhere from 700 to 800 pounds upwards to over 1,000. By the time it reached full adulthood, just surmising, looking at the size it was at 12 years old. A 12-year-old kid is pretty small. Compared to an adult.
Yeah. Well, man, I've been on for almost 3 hours. I think I'm gonna cut this show right here, and I'm gonna go I'm out of coffee. I gotta go make me another pot of coffee, and I think we're gonna shut it down here. Just hang on before you go, and I'll holler at you behind.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Pleasure as always.
Thank
you everyone in the chat for listening.
And thank all y'all. Thank y'all for the donations. I know Lakea thanks y'all. Because like I said, we're going to buy her a really good camera. We're going to see if we can't get her out some more squatching. And to all the nightmares, sweet nightmares.